what you want? And are you getting
Welcome
what
back.
you need?
No means nerds. No means nobodies. No means no necks. To the No Means No Thing podcast. No means
What's
nothing
going on,
podcast.
everybody?
The podcast where three absolute, complete fucking morons do their very, very best to try to find the absolute bangingest No Means No song of all time. Spoilers, there isn't one. I am one of your hosts, Jordan, as always.
I'm Matthew. Hello. How's it going? It's purple and oh wow,
You are purple.
my lights are purple. That's cool.
And I'm not getting what I want, and I'm not getting what I need. And my name's Michelle.
So here we are. the
Potato
three of us.
chips.
Potato
chips will make you
chips.
feel like you're getting everything that you need for a very short period of time.
For small bursts.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, a couple of announcements here. One,
Oh,
this is our
yeah.
last episode of the season. This is it. Round two.
Yeah.
Season rounds, whatever. This is round two. These are all the songs.
And it's almost like to the week-ish since we began. It's 4 years.
Oh fuck!
I think it is. I think it was January when we
Holy
started
dog
this.
balls! It was.
yeah, January
Yeah.
20
Dog
something.
balls.
Oh, wow.
2021.
Look at us.
Christ!
Right
It's
back
taken us
where
long
we
enough.
started from.
Yeah.
Episode 74 taking us long enough.
How
But
are
here we are.
things? How are things this January?
Yeah, right. Oh fuck that! God damn it! I don't even want to go there.
What about
Um,
David Lynch? We got to talk about David Lynch.
Oh man, shit! Especially like right. I know he was a favorite amongst the boys. We've got not Black Silhouette. What was the song? After Dark.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's dark.
No, Now It's Dark.
It's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Blue Velvet homage.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, that's talk about losing a legend. Holy
No
shit!
doubt.
Talk about the
Hey.
punk rock of cinema. That guy.
78 though. That's a good run.
Oh, he had a good run. Yeah, it's not before his time necessarily, but it's just he's one of those people that for me it's like I just take for granted that David Lynch is in the world. So now that
Yeah.
he's gone, it's kind of like, oh man, there's
I
really no one
know.
else to take that mantle.
Captain
he was
of Cool.
so
No
iconoclastic.
Mhm.
You know, I have not yet divin. There's not such a word. Dived into
Dave.
I've not daved into Twin Peaks season 2. So this is good
Oh, it's
motivation
fucked.
for me
It's
to.
fucked.
Oh, I can't wait. I really,
Yeah,
really, really,
it's
really,
fucked.
really want to do that. So, I won't say Godspeed, Mr. Lynch, but may your consciousness have merged into the one, which because I
In
know
heaven,
he was a pretty
everything
heavy
is fine.
he was a pretty
Eraserhead
heavy
speed.
transcendental meditationist. He's an amazing guy. Yeah, Eraserhead, absolutely the truest nightmare ever put on film in the sense of what a nightmare really is. Just how
Yeah.
disconcerting and unconnected, yet the thread is so clear and so. Anyway, fucking brilliant movie. Fucked me up when I saw
I
it.
haven't seen it since I made a mistake with it.
Oh no!
And I watched it in
Man.
a cold room illuminated only by a blue light bulb on mushrooms.
Oh God! No
I was
wonder.
waiting for the on mushrooms part. I was waiting for the on mushrooms.
That was dumb.
That
That really
is not-
brought that
not
on myself.
advised.
really.
Do not
You're
advise.
Yeah.
You're still
not
trying
advise.
to recover from it.
Jesus Christ! I mean, I was high as fuck, but mushrooms—that's a whole nother.
Oh
Uh-huh.
man,
That was dumb.
it was the.
Well, you owe it to yourself now and to him to watch it again in the
Yep.
clear light of sobriety, because it's just as fucked. It'll just be fucked in a
He
different way.
made some cool music too, by the way. If
Oh,
you ever get to hear
hell
some of
yeah.
his music, it is
Hell yeah.
fucked in the good way, huh?
Man, he
great
could do
stuff.
anything.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yep.
Okay, so also this evening, ladies and gentlemen, it's an extra. I don't know how long this is going to take, but we've got an extra stuffed episode because it's the last one, and we had 6 songs left, not 4. We're doing 6 of these fuckers. So let's see how we do. See how drunk I am by the end. I got a nice fat pour. Speaking of which, let's talk about the power of positive drinking. I have a new local distilled whiskey that my wife got me for
Oh.
Christmas
Num
from
num.
the Griffo distillery. It's fucking excellent, really good in the snoot. So I'm going to be taking deep sips of this big old.
Is
fat
it
glass.
a bourbon or is
Nope,
it
it's just a whiskey.
whiskey?
Yep.
Like Scotch. Like,
Yep, Scotch whiskey. Well, I mean, I guess you can't really call it Scotch unless it's from
no,
Scotland,
but yeah,
same
got it.
difference.
Scotch type whiskey.
Exactly.
It is Canadian whiskey. It is not Irish whiskey.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
is- It's
Exactly.
American whiskey, but it isn't bourbon.
But it isn't bourbon, and it's not from the Champagne region. Michelle, what have you got?
I
Wait,
have
wait a
an
little bit.
Irish whiskey. No, I'm just kidding. I have an Irish
Look,
beer.
the other Irish thing. Nice.
The Lord's Tears.
Wait, give it to me. Oh. Stick that up your butt and call it stinky. That's great stuff.
Oh, God. You're talking about my favorite beer with their dumbest lyric.
Worst No Means No lyric of all time?
Although
or
Byron
worst No
loves
Means
it.
No lyric of
Byron
all time?
loves that lyric, so he took
interesting.
offense to me taking offense.
Excellent.
He did.
And
Oh,
Mr.
boy.
Matthew, what you got on
what's,
deck?
What's the
What's on deck?
Canadian got?
Well, this time it has this selection is brought to me by both of you because Jordan, you put together this assemblage of weird beverages that was supposed to have arrived to me by my birthday, which is quite a ways past,
a long time ago.
And 3 months hence again. And Michelle brought it up to me because it made more sense for Jordan to ship it to Bellingham. And so I've had these drinks. And
I had to declare it.
I have quite a selection of drinks. They are all non-alcoholic. But I was going to just sort of read out what I have to choose from and then maybe let you guys choose which one.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to drink.
I don't know.
Hell yeah.
And then I have some beers in the fridge in case.
Good, you gotta have some
I'll
beers
probably
too.
drink those. So Strathcona Lager, just local.
It's going to be a long episode, so you're going to have
Yeah,
to check
exactly.
some beers back.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to have another whiskey.
I got.
God, have you had any, or have they been
No,
remained
I've saved
untouched?
them. I've saved
how
them.
about that?
So this is a Strathcona Pilsner, which I will definitely be drinking later.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Sidecar.
So let's
Side
see
piece.
what we got here. There's a
Oh my God!
bunch
Look
of
at this.
nationalities. Let's start with this one. Okay. So we have this Korean beverage. It says lemonade, and actually in Korean it also says lemonade.
Nice.
Yeah,
Lemonade.
lemonade. Lemonade. Yeah. So it says lemonade. I assume it's carbonated. It looks absolutely lovely and refreshing with a blue and yellow can. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Reach over here. What
Not
else I got?
nearly nasty enough.
I had
That
to
one's not
declare
getting a
this
vote.
stuff at the border.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I said,
So I
artisan
got
sodas.
this one, which is in Spanish and contains.
Spanish.
Oh no, actually no. It says it has Spanish on it, but it's actually got Thai writing.
Yes.
They're all Asian
Thailand.
drinks.
Yeah.
They're all Asian.
Yeah. So this is a tamarind drink.
Mm.
I actually really like tamarind. I had tamarind sauce the other night
Focal.
in a Smiley
Tamariнд's
restaurant.
great. Tamarind rules.
Yeah, tamarind is good. So these weird bean things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to cook with them all the time back when we lived in San Francisco. We'd make stir fry and hunt down fresh tamarind in the Asian shopping marts.
All right.
Love that shit.
And this says in Korean again, mango soda.
Ooh.
Mango. Again,
Mango
too
soda.
normal. Tamarind rules so far.
Mango soda.
Oh, that's where you're headed. Okay.
Oh yeah,
All
for
right.
sure. That's got to be something weird. Mango and lemon.
I think I don't think I should vote. I think you should, Jordan. You gave him the
We can
gift.
both vote.
Ah.
I mean, mine's the one that counts. But
And this is
Yeah.
Supag soda.
Supag.
Supag. The fuck is a
Well, that's what the Korean says. It's watermelon. It just says watermelon soda. Watermelon,
Oh,
sparkling
yeah, I see
watermelon
the
soda.
No, that's out.
don't know.
I hate
They're
watermelon
pretty
so bad. I hate it.
Yeah, but
do
you know
really?
what? Doesn't make other people hate it.
good. Wait,
Alright.
wait.
I'm just
I gotta
telling.
know. Do you hate like actual watermelon or
Yeah.
or watermelon flavor? Okay, because they're different.
I
right?
don't.
Watermelon
I don't,
flavoring
well,
is way different.
I don't like anything watermelon.
Oh, okay. I don't.
I
That's
just-
fine.
Including
I can buy
watermelon
that.
itself?
I'm against it. Yeah.
You're against it. I love watermelon.
I don't
but-
like it.
Well, here's another melon. This is kokozo, and it's Japanese. With
Coco's
nata de
like
coco.
Talk about a hot foot.
This is a melon flavored drink, so it's sort of a
It looks like radioactive waste.
honeydew type melon,
Oh, it looks kind of honeydew-ish. Yeah,
and
that
it's
color.
got nata de coco in it, which
Nata
is
de coco.
nata de
Cocaine
coco
or-
is a it's a sort of a you put lactobacillus in like the same thing that ferments yogurt into coconut
Oh.
milk, and it makes like these little
Oh.
nice cubes. Yeah,
Oh, shit.
I
Nice.
really love this stuff.
Nice.
So,
All right.
and then we got Milkus, but banana flavored.
Milkus! Banana flavored Milkus!
Milkus has shown up on the show
milk?
before.
Banana flavored Milkus wins. Hands down, sorry.
Are
no one
you
gets a vote.
serious?
No,
It's
I'm kidding.
banana flavored
I'm
milk.
kidding. I would rather have for tonight. I think
Oh.
the tamarind has to win because that goes better with beer.
Is
Okay,
that
it says
banana flavored
Korea's
milk?
number one cream soda, refreshing, creamy, and fizzy taste.
Ooh, I want that. That sounds good. I'd drink the fuck out of that shit. But yeah, I'd rather you try the tamarind.
All right,
'cause I think
tamarind
that'll
is
go
tamarind
good
wins.
with the beer.
Tamarind, okay. It's tamarind. It is, and then these guys will go back in the fridge for another.
For round 3 sometime.
While Matthew's getting that ready, I want to talk about, and I'm hoping by the time this comes out, things are in much better place. But if we've got any listeners who are down in LA, fucking shit, man. I absolutely, I mean, I know people that have lost homes. There's, everybody I know in California knows one degree of separation from somebody who's lost homes or had to flee. It's a fucking nightmare. The area that's burned is larger than the city of San Francisco. You cannot comprehend the size and devastation of this. And it's not over because the winds are whipping up this weekend again. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen? 80-mile-an-hour winds with fucking, inferno. It's crazy. So absolutely, if you are one of those people, fucking all my thoughts are with you. This is disaster after disaster we've seen this last decade, but this is a pretty bad one. So
I want to give it up to Canada too. Did you see those fucking planes they
Canada
sent down?
and Mexico. Yeah, the
Canada,
Canada planes
Mexico.
big ass fucking planes. Yeah, man.
Oh, the pooper scoopers, or what are they? The scoopers.
They're saving
they
the
call
Those are
dogs.
Mars
They're
water
saving the
water bombers,
cats.
Yes, they're. What did you just say?
I think some of those are
they
based
scoop
at
up water. They're
they're
amazing.
based at Sprout Lake in central Vancouver Island.
Oh
Nice.
man, they're fierce.
Yeah,
they're
those
going
things
in
are
in Mexico.
spruce
Yeah,
goose.
I think some South African firefighters show up as well. I don't know, but the world's coming together, and it makes me cry. And the what's that cooking thing? I donated some money to that to the place that cooks meals for everybody. This World Central Kitchen.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
People have been showing up. I mean, California is one of those places that fortunately is sort of out from under the shadow of our pending fascist regime. So I have a feeling people would be willing to help anywhere, right? We don't hold that back.
You'll see the best of people and the worst of people in these situations, but
I hate to say, I was looking at the news. I've been trying to do a little bit of a news purge, and scrolling down, I could not find anything on the first page or anywhere near the top of scrolling about the fact that there's still a war in Ukraine, and even the fact that there's still a war in Gaza is barely there at all. So I feel super bad for California and stuff like that, but
Yep.
yeah,
it's
that's
bad all over.
And the tens of people dying.
all over,
Yep.
Terrible property destruction. I'm not downplaying it and stuff. It's just
Yeah, and I mean that's certainly there's the degrees of it. I think when you think of the number of lives that have been completely upended, it's going to be pretty shit for people. But yes, there's always horror in our world. It's a wonderful thing. And on that positive note,
this drink, tamarind drink, it's a lovely pale brown color, which is
like
sort of
cider.
a dusty pastel brown is the color of tamarind. I believe it was the military police in the Dominican Republic or something like that. They're called Los Tamarindos because the color of their uniforms.
Nice.
Wow. I wonder if those would be good mixers, those sodas.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Maybe with
the
right,
throw vodka in pretty much anything.
Vodka or even rum in that one, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, rum. Yeah. This would
How about that?
It's like nice and tart and sweet.
Well, everybody,
a little bit of raisininess.
Oh, nice. Raise them if you got them. If you're walking Teddy, I hope you got some sort of beverage. If you're sitting on the John, I hope you got a nice beer with you. If you're in a car, I hope you're not the driver and you're not drinking. But other than that, tip your glass back, buckle up. We've got the last round. These are it. These are the only songs going through, and it's some doozies.
Yeah.
It's some doozies. We got 3 rounds. Matthew's up for this first round, then I'm up for a second round, and then Matthew's up for the third round. So he drew the short straw of being up twice.
Boy, lots of pee breaks.
Lots of pee breaks. I'm going to take notes about when they fall because he didn't edit it last time, so don't blame him for that total blowout in the beginning of my levels.
Come on, I thought it was funny. I know you almost caused a vehicle accident.
Yeah, I did today, but we won't do that again. But this time it should be much better because Parker's actually doing the editing. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and kick this off. Holy shit! So this first round is Slowly Melting, which is off of Why Do They Call Me Mr. Happy, 1993. And Slowly Melting is a People's Choice. It lost against Tired of Waiting in episode 13.
Yeah.
Now, Matthew was the dissenting vote on Tired of Waiting. He voted for Slowly Melting. So Slowly Melting comes up against Rags and Bones off of Wrong, 1989, and of course Live and Cuddly, 1991. Now, Rags and Bones handily won out against Slugs Are Burning in episode 28. That was a unanimous decision. I would stand behind that decision. I would stand behind both of these decisions, although the first one was far tougher. So we're going to go ahead and let these cubes melt a little bit while we warm our bones over some of these.
The sun is burning, the earth is turning, the earth is dying, it's slowly melting away. We start to finish, the feel exhausted, and once I had it, but now it's passing away. If there is nothing, what is our presence? I'm slowly melting, but what is slipping away? Choose to believe or not to believe. You know I would choose not to, but I can't choose not to. No bloody way.
Matthew, kick us off. What do you got to say about these fucking things?
I love both of these songs.
Right?
And fuck
Fuck
Chance.
This choice.
Yeah.
This one really sucks. Slowly Melting is right up there in the ones that have sort of climbed to the top of my favorite list. Songs that maybe I didn't pay as much attention to in the past. And Rags and Bones is the one that every fucking buddy knows.
Everybody knows. Even people it's probably on a jukebox somewhere, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
In terms of the songwriting, and this is probably just the fact that I think Rags and Bones is more all members playing together, and
right.
Slowly Melting is very much a composition by John. Right. So I think the
love that.
In some ways, Rags and Bones feels assembled from parts. Everybody's doing their thing, but it's like there's very, very distinct bits and pieces that are quite distinct from each other, and it hangs together, of course, but it is a bit of a grab bag in terms of what you find in it, and it is a very confusing song. Like, what is it even about lyrics wise? And it's more about feelings and stuff, where Slowly Melting is much clearer. It is probably the author's horror at environmental degradation, etc. But it is, because it's one guy probably doing most of everything in it. It maybe is a bit more coherent as a song in a way, simply because it's got it's a songier song than Rags and Bones, and that is not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing.
It's just a thing.
It's got a very, very distinct structure, very easy to kind of parse it out. Lyrics again, yeah. I always love the marine kind of feeling that you get in No Me Zone. Maybe that's coming from a nautical town.
Yeah, right.
But sort of a literary, but also just the language. So biblical allusion probably as well. with the Jonah and the whale, and Belly of the Beast, and all that kind of stuff, and being inside a submarine. I love it, but it's like, again, I've known this song for 36 years, and I still don't really know what it is or what it's about. Slowly Melting is very, very stark and haunting lyrics. I think it's a beautiful song.
Yep.
The vocals are beautiful. I don't think Rags and Bones is a beautiful song. It's an amazing, awesome ass kicker of a song, but it's not a beautiful song. It's
a shit kicker. Like it's fucking digs its boots in and just right. Like it's a totally different vibe.
Yep.
Yeah. Rags and Bones, I mean, always great. It's always one that they put so much energy into, but probably also one that they I imagine they probably get sick of people wanting to hear it,
right?
Expecting
they had
to hear
play
it.
They had to play it, right? Did they want to all the time? I don't know.
Yeah, whereas Slowly Melting wasn't possible to be played.
They played it once. They did on one tour, that first tour when they brought Scott with them, because then Scott could play the drums and John could play the keyboard.
Right. Yeah. Slowly Melting, and the performance, despite the fact that it is definitely one that they had to sew together, because it couldn't really be, all the different bits and pieces couldn't be played all at the same time in the studio.
Right.
I think, I don't know whether Rags and Bones was, but I think it's possible at least.
Well, they do. You hear it on Live on Cuddly. It's all fucking there. Like there's nothing missing from Live on Cuddly.
No.
Exactly that. But Slowly Melting, despite that, all the amazing hoops and hops that John produces, I love that stuff.
Good. And it's so good.
So he is super into it, because maybe it's because his song and stuff. But the feeling of Slowly Melting, it might be a little tight in some ways because it couldn't be played live. Rags and Bone is just looser, just because of what kind of song it is. It's
it's got the funk.
The funk. It's a bit funkier. Yeah, exactly. I think in terms of the lyrics and music and how well the lyrics go with the music, I mean, Rags and Bones, sure, great, but I mean, I'm not sure what one has to do with the other necessarily.
Who cares?
I mean, exactly. The music isn't. The lyrics are more just another instrument, less than sort of telling a story or anything like that.
Always. Yep.
Slowly Melting is very much the feeling of a flood, the feeling of at the end where there's that orchestral breakdown where imagine like water dripping off a glacier.
Oh, it's so fucking good. Bing, ding, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, totally.
It's so fucking good. And it's like an icicle dripping, right? It's fucking crazy. It's so
that
good.
plucking. I think that's violin plucking or viola plucking.
Yeah, pizzicato.
Pizzicato stuff.
And the way that goes into Lullaby cannot be bypassed. That is just fucking one of the best transitions.
It is a shame that Slowly Melting and Lullaby, and I can't remember the third song that was missing from the LP release.
Yeah, the LP.
Of Mr. Happy back in 1993. Slowly Melting was omitted, and kind of a shame. For highlights, Rags and Bones is the Beast Has Arisen, like that.
Yes.
And the building of it.
The building.
Yes.
Captain, dive. It's just that quiet to building. That's definitely my favorite part of Rags and Bones. Highlights in Slowly Melting. I love the orchestral stuff. There's so much going on in there. They like the violin string plucking, the pizzicato. The instrumental bridge, though, where they really just let it go.
God.
It's
fucking
like
hell.
Yep,
that's like fucking
transcendent.
calving glacier, causing sinking boats and whatnot. Fantastic. Lole.
What? I dare you to find one.
Well, I think just the only thing, like this Slowly Melting, one of these things where I almost like it anticipates the song that's not there, so it's hard to evaluate it on its own. So it sort of trails off and it goes into Lullaby, which makes a lot of sense. But when it's on its own, it feels like that orchestral breakdown kind of trails off.
Which is hard to hold it against it, right? But still, yes, in this context, on its own, it does abruptly sort of die instead of birth into something new. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it
Oh, I
isn't
like
not
that.
not abruptly. It just sort of trails off. But
Yeah.
The only low light to Rags and Bones that I can think of is just that I don't think it's their best song, and yet it's
Well, no, it's not.
the one that everyone knows.
Fuck 'em.
It's probably their most accessible, right? Which is one of, but anyway, that's, I mean, I don't know
I'd
if it's
say
their most accessible.
Slowly
but
Melting is actually maybe more accessible to more people.
I don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I don't think
I
it's as
think
much
so.
of a party song. I don't think.
No,
anyway,
certainly
we'll talk
not.
about that. But that's what I mean by accessible. I just mean like one that you could like. Anyway, we'll talk about that in the newbies.
But
section.
Slowly Melting,
I'm
you
getting
might
ahead
be
of
able to
myself.
play for a grandma or something.
Maybe.
You know, like in the right mood.
If it was a kick-ass
more
grandma who
to
could
it.
fucking shake her ass in that instrumental break, then
God.
But you could
Hell
never
yeah.
get grandma like listening to Rags and Bones, most likely.
Yep.
Hey, Shuddy.
So yeah,
great.
I
Round
think that's about all I got.
Michelle, how about you? Slowly
Okay.
Melting, Rags and Bones.
I want to talk with a grandma voice for my
Meh.
part.
Meh.
Listen, Sonny,
God
I
damn
like
it.
the Slowly Melting. It makes me rock out with my walker.
Makes
All
me
right,
wet, and I haven't been wet in years. God damn it.
Thank God
Sorry.
I got Depends undergarments.
Oh, yeah.
Comedian once said, Depends. That's a dumb name for a product like that. How about hell yeah? You want Depends. All right.
All right.
I'm here all week. All right, Slowly Melting. I really gained a bit more respect for this one, and every time I hear it now, Matthew, you did it again tonight. I didn't know if it was Matthew or Jordan that mentioned icebergs that we're calving. It really does sound like that. If
Yep.
you watch videos of it, it totally sounds like that. Now, hey, man, do you remember who plays this recently that you saw that played this
Well, of
recently,
course, I was
Matthew?
going to talk about it, but I'm glad you
Yeah,
did.
well, I'm
Yeah, I
doing
was
it.
gonna-
Fucking Dead
Well,
Bob,
you didn't.
for fuck's
It's
sake.
that's
It's
right.
yours.
It is mine. Seeing John
God.
and Dead Bob lay this down is truly exciting as hell, and you will lose your shit when you see it.
Everybody lost their shit
They're
when I saw
they're
this. We
going
were all
crazy.
looking
I
at
know.
each other going like,
Like,
can you believe this playing
yeah.
this song?
Yeah,
Fucking
that's right.
incredible.
Yes, and for
Oh,
years
Because
my
I
I
got enough
never
people
knew.
to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and they sound so good. It was like
so
written
good.
for them.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so good. And for years, I never knew that John sang this. I never knew it, but I figured it
Oh,
out
wow.
after
Oh.
becoming a Hanson Brothers
John
fan.
John wrote it for the band that would be.
Yes,
That's right.
but
That's right.
I
He was future
I
casting.
probably thought it was Andy singing or wasn't paying too much attention. And then when I started listening to Hanson Brothers, I'm like, holy shit, that's that's John singing that song.
Yep.
It was just out of my mind when I realized that. It's an epic piece. It gets better with age, and it takes on a whole new meaning when it's played live. It's one of those songs that's meant to be played live, really. And everyone hearing it gets giddy and happy as hell. And
Nice.
hopefully you'll be one of those people that gets to see it because
Yeah, no shit. If you
like
haven't
when
already.
they tear into that heavy section and Colin's just ripping it. God,
Fuck.
it's just amazing. You got to get right up front too. So
Yeah,
you
Colin
see-
slays
Oh my
that
God,
bass
he's
on
so
this.
good.
He just
Yeah.
fucking
So-
kills it
he's
so
so
hard.
good.
And
All of them.
and fucking Ford on the piano
Ford-
with the
Ford,
guitar,
yeah.
the folk guitar riff is, oh my God, it's incredible.
and he's dancing like a loon. It's
That's
just
incredible.
so good
They
to
fucking
see it.
nailed this.
Yes, just go to a Dead Bob show
Life
just to
goal.
hear this.
Yeah.
But yeah, John he's playing the drums and singing at the same time.
John, if you're
I don't know.
listening to this,
Oh my God.
for
I
future
know.
Dead Bob gigs, fucking keep this in rotation, please. Like, I know you're going to
Oh, yeah.
rotate No Means No songs in and out, but this one is like,
Yeah, it's
this
gotta
is a
stay.
treat. This is
Yep.
very, very special. It's
yes.
very, and plus, it never got played out by No Means No gig. So No Means No fans never got sick of hearing this live. Not we get sick of anything, but we never got to hear it. So
Yeah.
getting to hear it now is like extra
It's
special. So anyway, there's
exciting because like you said, everybody's just looking at everybody like, what?
I was
What?
hugging.
What?
I was hugging the old dad next to me, who we didn't know each other, and it was just like, "Can you believe this is real? Oh my God!" It's just like fucking incredible. It was incredible.
That's awesome. Okay, on to Rags and Bones. Man, what a tune this is. It's filled with so much attitude and has lyrics to match it. There's a hefty dose of funk in here, and it's a fan favorite for all the right reasons. Highlights to me are Rob's bass tone and the gigantic lyrics that Rob drops. My favorite is the white man, you just starting to get
Starting
the
to
blues.
get the
And
blues.
when we interviewed him, didn't he say, I asked him about it because I always just fucking loved it. I remember listening to it for the first few times. I'm just like, what is this? Who are these guys? And that line, it was just so crazy to me. But didn't he say that was John Lee Hooker that said that? One
Yeah,
of
I
those
think it
say
blues
was.
something.
giants.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was that guy. I don't know, but I was so happy to be able to ask him who said that because it was just so crazy. The riff in this song is seriously cool as hell, and they kick its ass when they play it. And he does some really splendid, snarly guitar work in here, which is his
Mm-hmm.
forte. And I love the crunch of that guitar. The Beast Has Arisen. Again, I'm a fan of that section too. Is a great part, and it's super fun to listen to as it grows and grows.
Nice.
Yep,
You good on that? That was
I'm
great,
good.
Michelle.
Yes.
All right.
Let's
So
talk more
fucking
about
these
Dead
two
Bob playing
songs,
that.
man. So Slowly Melting has long been one of my favorites. Like this one was not a grower for me. I fucking love this song. I mean, I literally there's some songs that are like this, but I literally remember buying this CD. I bought the LP first, but I remember buying the CD and going like, oh shit, there's 2 new songs on here, and skipping right to this one and just being fucking blown away
Yeah,
of
yeah.
just the fucking incredible
Sorry,
power of
which
this song.
episode was this one on originally? It was really
That was on
early,
episode. It was pretty early, 13.
13.
I love
so
that.
it's
I
pretty
love
early
how you
on.
know with the numbers and stuff. I love
I
that.
Yeah.
I did research. I didn't know it off the top of my head. I just keep track of this
No,
shit.
I remember distinctly. I was like parked, listening to it as
Yeah.
Lisa was getting her COVID vaccination.
Her COVID
shit.
vaccine.
Oh shit. God.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a while ago now.
One of the days.
Then you made the
So-
mistake of voting for it against my favorite song.
So, well, yeah,
It was the
but
COVID.
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Slowly Melting is just an absolutely banger of a song. And, you know, it's funny because in many ways, there's many things this podcast has done for me to increase my appreciation, but I wasn't really that aware of how much of the composition work John did in this band until this podcast.
Mhm.
And I'd always kind of pegged him more into the more Hanson Brothers side of things in terms of composition in the songs, and hadn't really realized his absolute genius prog punk fucking master.
Big band. He
Bill-
loved big band.
Big band. And this
Jason's
song, like,
yep.
yep. And this song,
Jason's
like,
book mentioned that.
absolutely shows off
Mm-hmm.
the genius of his compositional skill. And the fact that this is to go back to Dead Bob for a minute, the fact this is back in rotation is just the fact that both of my kids got to see this song played live is a life goal for me. I'm just couldn't fucking believe that shit. And lyrically, I love this song. I think that these are John's words. I think all of this song is John. I don't think it's Rob, even though it's in that wheelhouse. It's incredibly beautiful. And while it's very dark in its way, you know, just the nature of impermanence on a glacial global level, on a human level, the fact that it ends with this line, but if there is nothing, what is that presence? It's slowly melting. Perhaps there's nothing at all. And it's like, there's still a question of like, but if there's nothing, what is that? What is that thing that's here witnessing the melting, right? There's still a question. It's what I love about this fucking band. There's never an exclamation point. There's never a period. There's always a question mark. And a song that's very much about decay, entropy, the ruin of everything still has a question about like, but what about that? Right? Which I think is just beautiful. And it's so well placed to be at the end, like as the last sort of line of like, there's all of that, but, and it fucking floors me every time.
Yep.
And holy shit. So one of the things I think I talked about when we talked about the jungle was that No Means No gives us some of the amazing musical breaks. I'm thinking, Give Me the Push, right? I'm thinking No Big Surprise. I'm thinking all these songs that like just give us these meaty musical breaks. There's a handful of them. The jungle kind of teased me on that front where I wanted more. I wanted them to really fucking chew in. This song gives me every ounce of steak that I want. It's just like you keep going, and it actually has 2 peaks, right? Because there's almost the musical chorus line of bam, 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 ba-dam, ba-dam, ba-dam. And that comes in once in the middle of that musical bridge, but then it goes straight into that balls out pseudo guitar solo, which is actually a keyboard solo. So the fact that he feigns an exit out of the bridge, like you think maybe it kind of sounds like, well, maybe we're getting out of this. Nope, you're about to hit the heaviest shit you've heard. And it's just, I will fucking listen to that on repeat. That section again and again and again.
God, I wish I could have seen you at the concert listening to this.
God, and Rob's bass line in this, it's so fucking harsh and beautiful and tight, and it's just like a fucking machine gun to my face. That whole section is a masterpiece, and it's bookended by amazing riffs that are so. This is one of those songs where it's really hard in the best way to grab a hold of it. The syncopation and the rhythm in it is so slippery that your mind can't. John is so amazing at the way he composes, the way that the different lines play off of each other, that you can't nail it down. I can always kind of hear it one way or another. And so there's just this inner shift in my attention that can't ever fully grasp it. It's bouncing back and forth in the most pleasurable way possible.
Right.
And then he lets me really lock in that musical solo. There's none of that in that bridge. Every line is just fucking on, fucking on, fucking on, fucking on, and then back into the play, back into the playfulness, until finally it just dissolves into that playful orchestral dripping at the end. God, compositionally, this is just a fucking masterpiece. It's so good. It's so good.
It is.
And then Rags and Bones, which fucking hell, this song is so special to me. This was like, I mean, I remember being in college when Wrong had just been out for a couple of years, and I just discovered this band. And I remember moving into my dorm, right? I'd moved into the dorm. I was like, you know, you're like, who the fuck? I don't know anybody. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
My parents, my stepdad had got me these really nice speakers. I think partly because he wanted to be like, I want to give you a leg up. I want you to, you know, be at college and have nice speakers.
Cool
he loved music. And so I opened my door and I turned this song on, and I just turned it all the way fucking up.
Baby.
And this guy walked in this band transition, and he played in this band transition. He walked in and he was like, holy fuck, you're a No Means No fan? And I was like, yes! He had a giant Wrong poster on his wall, which I've never seen before or since.
Oh, man.
And that's how I got to know Dave, right? Was because I blasted the shit out of this song. And it was like, he came down immediately, was like, okay.
Where's that coming from?
Where's that coming from? Who the fuck is playing Rags and Bones?
Awesome song.
Yeah, Dave was a huge No Means No fan. So,
like
and
moth
transition
to
was
a
awesome.
flame.
So this song has a lot of emotional baggage for me in the best possible way, right? Like my girlfriend at the time didn't like No Means No very much, but she really loved this song and would let me blast this song. That's what I meant, like in terms of it being an accessible song. There's people I know that have not really jived with No Means No when I've tried, but still love this song because it fucking kicks its shit heels down. It throws the shit on the floor and is like, you know what? Fucking, you could line dance to this song if you wanted to, right? Like this song could like span across all sorts of genres, people. It's got everything in it. I hear what you're saying, Matthew, that I don't know that I agree. I hear what you're saying in the fact that it's not as maybe cohesive as a single piece of composition. But to me, this song has a unity in its eccentricity that just feels right and feels, while it's not my favorite No Means No song, it has been my favorite at times. I feel like it's one of their most emblematic. It's just got so many of the ingredients in a just sort of natural way, which I think is one of the reasons it's become such a fan favorite, because it's got, no matter which direction you're coming from, whether you're an Ono Bruno guy or whether you're a fucking All Lies guy or whether you're whatever, like there's something in there for you that's going to fucking catch you and be like, yeah, that's my shit. And someone else is like, no, that's my shit.
Right.
So
then they fight in the pit.
Exactly. And lyrically, you're right. This is a bit inscrutable, but but in a sense, that's what I love about it, because I love their songs that keep drawing me in. Like, I'll never put my thumb on it. I'll never finally get it, but I've had different interpretations of it over the years. I really like, there's a way I can look at saying the last time I talked about this song, I really felt that it was a story song about someone who was going to be entering the Navy. As a submarine pilot. No, it's in there. It's in there. But on a broader sense, it really feels like kind of a description of belief as addiction as identity. That first stanza kind of says it all to me, right? Like Christ was married on the cross, that
Oh,
defined
come on
him.
with that line.
My father was married to my mother. That's a definition of your being based on this kind of external thing. And I am married to a cigarette butt, this like, which just makes me think of addiction and degradation, these different levels of the holy
That's
society.
self-loathing.
Yes. But it's also like, there's the holy, there's society, and then there's my own fetid addiction and identity. There's just this beauty to it. And then that middle stanza is so fucking gorgeous. The most ridiculous thing I remember, everyone knows my saga with Russell and how much I fucking loved him and how much I am so glad he introduced me to this band. And he was saying that one of his friends, he believed it for a little bit, but then he quickly dissuaded himself, that this band proved that this song proved that the band was satanic because of this.
Oh, I remember that.
And this was someone who like was happy about that, right? And I'm like,
oh, okay.
You fucking tool! Like, what a low, dumb reading of that fucking stanza, right? Like, that's the worst, lowest. No.
Could it be Satan?
Right. But that's the way this song takes risks in breaking into the first really funky bluesy section, that middle section, which Matthew, you talked about how it builds from. That's one of my favorite parts of that. How it builds from stanza to stanza to stanza, or line to line to line, and Andy's guitar gets more and more arch. Rob's bass gets more and more arch. The lyrics become more and more screamed. It's so fucking good. And then one of my favorite parts of this song is after that they go into the chorus, and then Rob drops down an octave with the main riff.
Oh, God.
And that is so impactful, and everything kind of becomes more spare. And he talks about what I think is the best fucking lyrics in the whole thing. If I could choose to believe or not to believe, I would choose not to, but I can't bloody choose. Although I prefer the live and cuddly, I can't fucking choose, of course. But I think that sums up the song. This idea that we are our beliefs. We are those things that we're stuck to. We are the things that externally define us. And those lines give it to it. And he's so low on the bass and so tight on it. And then they bust out with the total fucking hip hop break. It's crazy.
Yeah.
No one talked about that yet. That is crazy, that part. Any old rags, bones, bones. I mean, that is nuts and so fucking tight and crazy. And out of nowhere. And every time I would play this for someone new and it would get to that part, they'd look at me like, what? What just happened? What the fuck is this?
Exactly.
So good. It's really hard to compare and contrast these songs because these are really, really different. I mean, contrast, they are very different vibes from the band. One is, as you mentioned, both you mentioned, and Matthew really put a fine point on it. One is very composed in a beautiful way. And one feels like not a jam, but
a fuck you. Here it's gone.
A fuck you shit kicker in the best possible tight ass way. And it's one of those bass lyrics that's like, God, I know I've heard this. And you really haven't. There's some that are kind of a little bit like it, but it's one of those bass lines, rags and bones, that's so fucking perfect that you're like, they couldn't have come up with that. That's gotta be someone else's. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's too iconic. Mm-hmm. That's too fucking iconic. But give me a break. This is one of the reasons this song is at the pinnacle of people's memories of this band. That bass riff is one of the best bass riffs of all fucking time. It is so good. And I think it shows off almost better than any bass riff in this album of Rob's sound. Michelle, you mentioned this. Rob's sound this album. This fucking song epitomizes that sound of Rob's bass that was never appeared before, never appeared again in this particular way. And I'm so grateful that it exists because holy shit, is it amazing.
That riff sounds like somebody singing or speaking or like rapping.
It does. And the way that Andy in this one knows how to serve it, right? Like he's really serving Rob's bass line in this. He never tries to take over. Not that he ever does, but there are times where he needs to, right? Where he'll come to the fore and sort of be the tidal wave that overwhelms the riff. He knows in this song, nope, The bass has got to be up front.
Yep,
The bass
that's a
fucking rules
musician
this.
right there. That is what that is.
Until the Beast Has Arisen part where he lets his punctuations take the lead, and in the he's the lead vocalist and lead instrument in that, because Rob just goes to the heartbeat. He's just that fucking low heartbeat where Rob can really become Andy can really become the tidal wave in that. So anyway, love that song. Highlights and lowlights. Highlights in Slowly Melting, the whole fucking thing, and
I think you just said it.
The musical bridge. I just think I love it when they just let their shit fly, and they're like, you know what, we're just gonna keep going. No, we're gonna keep going. No, wait, we're gonna keep going, and nope, gonna keep going, and they just fucking play more of that fucking instrumental meat for me, and this song gives it to me in the best possible way. And in Rags and Bones highlights, again, this time when I'm listening to it, I've had different highlights at different times I listen to it. For some reason, this time, the drop an octave when Rob goes down in the bass and everything quiets down, and it really feels like he's fucking just looking me in the eye and making that statement about choosing to believe or not to believe. It really hit me this time, and that it's because of the drop in the bass, which doesn't happen anywhere else in the song. I think the bass is played in that higher register, the higher octave, every other time, and that just really, really hit me, and it was such a good fucking choice. Low lights, man, I got no low lights. What the fuck am I going to say about low lights about either of these songs? There is not. I mean, Matthew, I kind of agree with you. Like, on its own, carved out, Slowly Melting doesn't give you the ending you want, because it's literally meant to, and it does flow into the next song. Yeah. So, but that's not its fault. It's the fault of this format. And Rags and Bones, the only drawback, I guess, is that this song, for all No Means No songs, has been overplayed, right? Like, it's one that we've all heard too many times.
Right.
So that doesn't do it any favors. If these songs were deposited in front of me the first time ever, I don't know how I would feel about them, right? Mm-hmm. And that's why this vote's going to be very hard for me in the end. Rags and Bones, I've heard 8 billion times. I've heard 8 billion people talk about it. Slowly Melting is the dark horse that's always kind of lived in my heart and galloped free across the plain. Wow. So the fact that Rags and Bones is overplayed is its only downside, and that's not its fault. It's just the fault of how it's where it's been in the history of it. So that's it for my round one. Matthew, round two.
Yeah, in terms of representative, Slowly Melting is a little unusual. Maybe that's why they didn't put it onto the album or the LP version of the album, because it is so composed. And you're right. It's interesting that this was the first one where I'm like, oh yeah, it is it's a composition, and then they went back and sort of saw a whole bunch of other songs through that lens, and knowing that how much more, because. I'd met John. I spent time with John, and John is such an unassuming, he's a very, very nice person.
Very nice, very nice.
Like, just he's just kind of a goob, and you'd never. You see him as the lead singer of the Hanson Brothers. See that, and he's just like inhabiting this character and everything like that. And he's not. He knows he's good, but he's not an egotistical man.
No.
Like, not in the slightest.
I love that. I love that he's not like that. To
have been a fan of this band for so long and not really have recognized just how talented he is. You can't. The drumming is incredible, but then all of the composition and all of the fact that you can tell after you know about it, some of these songs were composed on piano, and sometimes he would make up stuff that the other people couldn't play because
like obsessed
of the way his brain works.
Yeah, exactly.
His silly brain. Yeah. Genius fucking dude. Yeah, he's just anyway.
Mr. Canada.
This song, like I say, I think maybe not a grandma, but maybe a mom or an auntie or something like that. If you said to them, I really want you to listen to that. I really want you to listen to this song and find something that you like about it. I think there's maybe it's more, I don't want to say accessible, because accessible is like that's like a negative thing, but I think it's got maybe more for more people in a way.
there's something in there that anybody could love, even if they
Yeah.
don't love the whole thing. There's a part
Yeah.
that they could
Yeah,
grab
yeah.
onto. Yeah.
And maybe Rags and Bones to a certain extent, but maybe for a smaller subset of people. But I mean, representative, Jesus, Rags and Bones. It's unusual as a song, as any song. It's kind of unusual even from a No Means No song in some ways. It's funny, it's intense, it shows chops in a lot of ways. It ticks every single box. I mean, of being like a typical representative No Means No song, I would say. Important in their body of work. Slowly Melting, I think, should have been more so, but because of the difficulty playing it live, I'm really happy that it's getting kind of a second life as a Dead Bob song. I think that's fantastic. And then also the obscurity, a relative obscurity of it. It wasn't on the LP, so fewer people heard it. And of course, Rags and Bones, it's totally iconic. Maybe the most well-known No Means No song. Like maybe Slade.
Maybe Ono Bruno or Slade, but
But no, Rags and Bones is really it, and what most people who aren't even kind of have a passing familiarity with the band will probably recognize that.
Yeah.
Would I play them for a newbie? Yeah, either of these for sure.
Yeah.
But
kind of
again,
first time, right? Like both suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But again, maybe a wider subset. If like uninitiated people, maybe I'd play Slowly Melting more often than Rags and Bones, because I
think interesting. All right, great, nice. Michelle, second round. What do you got?
Well, I don't have a lot written here, but I want to say, like, both of these songs, they just make you happy. Both of them.
Yes.
They just God, it's just
these get the blood pumping. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, both of them truly are just representative of the band. I think they both are. There's nothing that sucks in any way at all. That's all I wrote for this section. I'm sorry.
What about newbies? Can you tell me about what you think about newbie stuff?
Oh, I would totally play either of these anywhere at any time for anyone. Period.
Nice.
I would totally play these for newbies.
I would. Do you guys can you see my screen name right now?
What is it?
Surly Milton.
Surly Milton. What is that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Well, slowly melting.
Oh, Slowly Melting. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, mine's still Turd of Waiting because I'm Turd of Waiting.
That's great. Mine's just fucking Jordan.
Turd
because
Ferguson.
it's my account. So one of the things you just said, Michelle, which I think I really want to highlight, both of these songs make you feel really fucking good. So there are those No Means No songs that I love, like The River or The World Wasn't Built in a Day, that send me inside. Well, Mary, I wouldn't put in that. Mary also brings me out. Mary makes me fucking go out. My energy explode outward.
Oh, okay.
Right? There's some songs that really bring me inward. Slade brings me inward, right?
I like that.
But these two songs, really, both of them just explode outward with energy. They just make me feel so much outward joy, right?
Yep.
And that's this band. People can peg it as a dark band, which is some degrees true. But this idea that there's an exploration of dark, meaningful, existential, like, epistemological themes, but they can fucking shake your ass.
Are you saying they do something dark against something light?
They sure are. Shut up. That's a little bit of a hint. So representative as a whole. I think Slowly Melting, it's harder to say it's representative as a whole, but it is in that way that it's John really demonstrating his genius at composition. I think the reason this didn't end up on the LP is because it was too long. It's a fucking long ass song, and LPs had a limit of time. So if you're going to cut something, I'm sure they didn't want to cut it, but it's like, fuck, we need to make it a double LP. There's no way a 9-minute song is going to fit on here. It's either this or The River.
Really 9 minutes?
It's fucking long. This song is fucking long.
It doesn't seem like it at all. It doesn't seem like it at all.
I know it doesn't seem like it, but that middle bridge goes for like twice the length of most songs. That middle bridge. It's probably not 9 minutes, but it's very long. So I think it's very iconic in that way, in that it represents John's ability to make a prog masterpiece.
Yep.
But other than that, I don't know how representative of No Means No is. It's representative in the fact that it's a song that conveys a very deep thing while making me feel so much joy. And so there's this contradiction it elicits in me that is this Frisian that is gorgeous. It's a gorgeous Frisian that it elicits in me. And that's why I drink at the well of this band, is because of this Frisian. And I think this song really represents that.
I like that.
Rags and Bones is on its face an important representation of their oeuvre. I think it is their most distilled representation of their oeuvre, and that is why it's their most popular song. It's why even those who will say this is overplayed will probably out of the other side of their mouth say, well, it's overplayed because it's Rags and Bones. Like, right? Like I don't need to hear it as often as I do when they play it live, but it's also fucking, come on. It's got everything that makes this band incredible is there. And it's not just there, it's there in its perfect form, right? Like it's just, it's so well distilled. It's so well, like each band member gets to put in what they do best. Each band member gets to put in, like the band as a whole gets to put in what's perfect about it. I didn't talk about this before, so I'm going to put it in this round. In both of these songs, how the lyrics match the words. I think, the lyrics match the music. The lyrics of Slowly Melting are amazing, and they match the song really well. But I think Rags and Bones, the way Rob delivers this is fucking iconic. His not even what he's saying, it's how he's saying it. Exactly. This is such a, in terms of his Sprechgesang, right, which I'm not saying right. That's like someone in Germany is going like, fuck you. The way that Rob delivers this shit and the way Andy delivers that middle section, this is like peak No Means No vocal delivery, because not only does it give it, there aren't as many songs that give as Rob at his most hardcore, in your face, looking you right in the eyes, being very weird and sincere, and yet it turn around and in the middle section giving you Andy being his most fucking like drill bit to your face, sort of like slowly building. This song has both of those guys giving it to you in full measure, and yet sounding like all part of a single song. Not like, oh, now it's my turn, now it's your turn. It seamlessly goes from one to the other, but at full fucking blast. And Michelle, to your point, White Man, you
oh my
God,
is like, I love that. I fucking love that so much.
It is incredible. And then the way Rob brings it down with his bass, and he really is like from his guts saying, if I could choose to believe or not to believe, it's like fucking hell. It is so difficult to parse and yet so deeply sincere that I can't fucking even with the way that the lyrics fit the music on both these songs. But for me, Rags and Bones, I think, stands out in a way that's weird for me because I don't fully understand the song. So it's like I'm picking up on the emotional register without being able to intellectually pin it to the wall. And I love that about it. I love that about it. So both of these songs are important. I think Rags and Bones has a more obvious importance. I wish Slowly Melting, kind of have both of you stated, and I know Matthew said it explicitly, I wish Slowly Melting was more important. I think it's probably for those that have seen, as you definitely said, Michelle, those who have seen Dead Bob, it's risen in that importance. Because we never got to see it live. And we all know that those songs we got to geek out to live meant more to us, and getting to see this live fucking was transcendent. So
being right up front and watching John play this and sing this and having those fuckers
and let me just say,
unreal.
When we're talking about John, just for a second, I know I'm going a little bit long on this one, but when we're talking about John, yes, the drums in Rags and Bones are great. Mm-hmm. The drums in Slowly Melting.
Oh my, yes.
Fuck me. Those are that is, there's some shit in there. I'm like, holy fucking shit. I don't care if those are 2 tracks. I really don't. I doubt it is because now I've seen it live, but oh my God, it's intense.
Yeah.
So incredible. So would I play either of these for a newbie? I've played both of these for a newbie. Absolutely. Just like both of you. I've played Slowly Melting for certain newbies. And I've played Rags and Bones for certain newbies. For me, Rags and Bones is the more general one that I would play for more people, because I think even if you don't like hardcore music as a party song, this is one you can put on in the background and people will shake I've seen it. Like I said, my girlfriend of the time who was not into hardcore at all and who did not really love No Means No would shake her ass off to the song. Loved it. So this song could get to people's booty shaking no matter their proclivities. Whereas I think Slowly Melting is maybe a more, as you said, Matthew, there are pieces of it that anybody could love. As a whole, I don't know that many newbies would love all of it. Like when they get to the musical break, they might pull back a little bit. But I just think Rags and Bones keeps pulling you in, keeps pulling you in, keeps pulling you in, and it shifts it enough that it's like, oh, now I get to the hip part. What the fuck is this? So
Yeah.
But they're both. That's not a one over the other. They both work for newbies, probably more than any other pairing we've ever had. I can't think of a pairing where I'm more like, both of these work for newbies really well, and I've in fact done this for both for newbies for sure. And we'll do it again. All right, that's enough for me. Now it's the really, really,
Dude,
really
I have
hard
no
part.
idea where this is going.
I don't either, but Matthew, I'm very glad that you're up first on this.
Let's dump it on Matthew first.
I don't know where I'm going. I mean, I think I do know where this is going for you, but
actually, okay.
So I'm voting for Slowly Melting.
I knew it.
I know it, and I don't because
I really like the fucking song.
Dislike that, yeah.
I think it's a better song.
And you're Shirley Milton.
Yeah,
Michelle. Well, hold on a second, and that's two for Slowly Melting for you. You've done Slowly Melting.
You have done.
Michelle
twice.
and I were for Tired of Waiting before, so you've stuck by this song. You're a tried and true. Michelle, I'm not sure where you're going to go. This is really interesting to me. I don't know.
I think it's going to be obvious when I tell you. When we interviewed Rob, I asked him about the white man. You just started to get the blues.
Oh, fuck.
I goddamn love that part in this song. It's so badass. I am voting for Rags and Bones.
Fuck you. Fuck. You make it so hard for me. God damn it.
So do the right thing, mate.
There's no right thing here. Let me just say right now, this is really, 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 really probably one of the hardest places I've been in terms of a vote.
Oh, no.
Because now I have to put myself in. I'm gonna go on for a little bit here, so forgive me, everybody. But this puts me in the place of what I know should go through for their oeuvre, right? In terms of like what I know should go through because it's the song that's more important versus the song that I put on more often, the song that I respond to more. Which side am I going to go to? And I've bounced around.
I think I know.
I've bounced around. No, I don't. Right at this very moment, Michelle, I do not know which way.
Well, because put it in the paper with a thing like I did last time.
No. I adore both of these songs. Let me make it very clear. Rags and Bones has been more important to me for more years than Slowly Melting. Meaning that Rags and Bones was a song that I went back to and played to and felt so attached to. But in the last decade and a half, 15 years, Slowly Melting has been it has slowly melted my fucking brain.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Oh.
And I think it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. And Rags and Bones has to go through because it's more important, unfortunately.
Oh my fucking God.
So I hate that. I hate myself already for saying it. I hate myself already for saying it.
I didn't think you were going to do it.
But it's not an easy choice because I do think that Rags and Bones, it's not like it's just because it's more important. It is a masterpiece in distilling what is perfect about No Means No. And I would not feel right if Rags and Bones were not in the third round. I don't feel right that Slowly Melting is in the third round. I really don't. I don't. But I think Rags and Bones is like, I can't not have it be a contender. It won't win. I'll say that right now. It's not going to be the top song.
I know,
but I don't like that. I can't imagine not having it play against one of the third round songs. I just can't imagine that.
I don't like
Rags
this
and
no more.
Fuck, I hate that. I hate this.
I don't like this game no more.
Well, too late.
All right?
You signed on.
Slowly Melting. You just want to grab John right off the fucking drum throne and just
So let me say right now, this is one of the reasons. Maybe this is one of the reasons. Slowly Melting is one of John's best compositions. Rags and Bones is one of the band's best songs. It's not the best song, but it's the band. Whereas Slowly Melting is one of John's masterpieces. And I feel like if I'm looking between the two, I want to put a song that is the band through. Now
Good
that's very
point.
selfish of me because I've put through songs through that are certainly more Rob heavy than
I
anything else.
know, but
But in
this'll
this
help ya.
instance,
This
Rags and Bones
helps.
feels like it's got all of the band firing on all cylinders. So
It's an
anyway,
old buddy. It's
that's
an
too
old
much
buddy.
talk for me on that front. But
Yeah, I
Holy
gotta say,
shit.
Rags and Bones I would have advanced it against a lot of songs.
a lot, right? That was hard. That was not easy for me. I didn't know until I said it. I will be really frank.
I
I
thought
did
you
not know
both
until I
guys-
said it.
I thought both you guys were going to do
I
Slowly
could have.
Melting.
I could have.
I
was
know,
right
I know.
there.
It would have
I was
upset
right
a
there.
lot of people, but that would have been very
But even
funny.
that, I'm not thinking. I'm trying not to think about the fans.
No, I know.
Like that's fine. They're all good natured enough that when they hate on us, they love us at the same time. So I don't care. Unfortunately, I don't have to think about that. But
It's happened enough that a listener has said to me like, yeah, I was pissed off when you said that, but then I thought about it and wow, I see where you're coming from. I just don't agree, but I get it.
Yeah.
I'm really, 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 really glad you voted for Slowly Melting though, because it needs its sympathy, not sympathy vote. It needs its vote of like confidence, and I was right on the border. So
Yeah, I wasn't.
That's why I mean, Rags and Bones. I do love that, and I love that line. God damn it, I love it.
It is
but I
really
really
great.
thought I was going to be the Matthew in this vote.
No.
With picking.
Now we better move on before I regret my vote.
Okay, now
No,
choosing
like,
things. Should I move to beer or should I have another one of these interesting
Beer.
Okay.
But
I
it's
need
8:11.
Matthew.
Are we really going to do two more after
Oh
this?
yeah. I need
Hell.
beer, Matthew. So I'll tell you what. How about this?
I
don't
need
know
to
where
go
you're.
pee though.
Are we on a pee break? Okay.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
all right. We are regathered. I feel better, and I've got a little more whiskey.
Yeah, this beer.
Dangerous.
Yeah, Strathcona Brewery. Strathcona is the oldest neighborhood in Vancouver, sort of sandwiched between the port and the rail yards, kind of long and skinny. Oh, and the downtown east side, which is sort of Vancouver's notorious zombie movie. It's a difficult part of town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Strathcona is really pretty, and just a lot of history, and it's
nice.
Changing, but not changing
Oh, geez.
that fast, which is nice. Anyway, this is a Pilsner, and I'm very happy to be drinking it.
Nice. Well, we're back. One thing that occurred to me while I was draining my hog was Nick's round 3. I say this now, and I did not hold me to it, but I'm absolutely going to dive into the subjective and not consider anymore, which I have at times and have in others, what's more important, what's more important in their oeuvre. I'm gonna try to cleave tightly to my feelings about it, right?
Yes.
And I haven't always in these votes. Sometimes I have, and sometimes I haven't. But I'm going to abandon that and just go fully into like where do I land on this, right? Round 3 is about what I feel and not about what I think is important. Because round 3 to me feels like almost and this round was kind of like that. What do I feel is important to be at the end? What should be at the finish line sometimes? Not always, but sometimes it's like, which one really should be there fighting for its life? Anyway, all that
Time
said,
of waiting is what should be.
it's in there. It's in round 3.
Yeah.
So we're gonna dive to a listener submission here, and this is from Jason Beert, a longtime fan of the podcast, longtime member of our Facebook group. Jason, you're fucking awesome, and Jason, you sent this in quite some time ago. And I'm happy to read this. This is not one of our typical. This is actually just a concentrated story that he wrote us about a particular song after hearing that song discussed on one of our episodes. So I'm going to go ahead and read this listener submission from Jason Beard. I was enjoying the most recent podcast, episode 57, at work through a Bluetooth speaker. As I'm working along doing my usual graveyard shift duties, it is quiet, but I can't read all night. Your discussion of the head-to-head battles was great. I loved it, as I almost always do. In the discussion of Gimme the Push being a song that brings more of an emotional response, it resurrected a long-forgotten memory, being this. In 2000, I was asked to go on tour with a friend. She thought it would be good to have a subpar drummer to play with her on her acoustic tour. And me, being someone who had only played as far away as less than 200 miles from my town, I jumped at the chance. She played at this little DIY thrown together punk venue we had called Mullets. That night, I put together a couple of mixtapes to bring along. On one of those tapes, I had recorded Give Me the Push, and The rule on the road was the driver got to pick the music.
Oh, good. Yeah.
After a few days on the road playing such fantastic things as the Minneapolis Pride Parade and such poor events as a bookstore in Chicago, where they forgot to promote the show, I was at the helm with a mixtape in the deck, blaring away. It was nighttime. We were all feeling a bit run down. We slogged ahead through the night. With bleary eyes and foggy mind, I kept the GMC Safari van between the lines and pressed on. When I got a shot of energy and of emotion as Give Me the Push came on. My weariness was given the push to the back of my addled brain. This song gave me a seething energy of raw emotion, pain and love and regret all seemed to be melded into my being. Driving was the perfect accompaniment. I am into it. I'm barreling down the highway, singing along, gripping the steering wheel, beads of sweat forming on my brow and tears well up in my eyes.
Whoa!
The breakdown comes, and I relax momentarily and take a breath. As the song regroups and Rob's bass pounds out its riff and John comes in as a force on the drums, I feel like a battery recharged. I feel alive. And just as I come to the crescendo of the song,
the police siren here.
It suddenly comes to an abrupt end.
Oh.
The singer I was on tour with hit the eject button and said, "This song is too repetitive."
Oh my God.
I was in the middle of an emotional journey. I was fully engrossed. I was part of the song and part of the life. You can't just stop that before it's over.
Oh my God.
I had buried that event deep in my brain, and this past episode has brought it back. The therapy bills will be expensive. Love the podcast.
And I buried the
Jason
singer.
Beert.
She breached the contract.
She fucking...
The driver's supposed to choose. Like,
I vicariously wanted to yell at this person so fucking loud. Pardon me. To call the musical break of Give Me the Push too repetitive is to out yourself as a Philistine of the highest order. Fuck that person. Jason, I love this story. And this gives me that vicarious feeling of my joy and terror at playing No Means No for anyone. Because just like what I love about what you described is that feeling that you have in the midst of something. And then when someone shits all over that and you realize that the intensity of your feeling was just literally shit on by someone else.
They're not worthy. Fuck them.
It feels so bad that that's why I hesitate to play songs for people sometimes, because I'm like, I don't want you not to like this, because if you don't like it, I'm going to judge you, and I don't want to judge you for it. So, Jason, thank you for that.
Hey, that was a sick reading, Jordan, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You
Dramatic
should read
reading.
for books or
It deserved
something.
it. It
Jesus
deserved it.
Christ, man.
That's why I'm an actor, I guess. But Jason's email deserved it. So, Jason, I hope I did it justice. I hope you're still listening to this podcast. All right, I got a little more whiskey.
That was great.
I realized when I was downstairs I don't really need it, but I decided to have it anyway. So
Okay.
we'll see how these other four
It's the
songs
apocalypse
go.
around here.
So we're into round 2 of this last episode of round 2, and this time we have drumroll Revenge off of Sex Mad,
Revenge
1986.
Of the nerds.
Now, Revenge won against The Hawk Killed the Punk, episode 14.
wow.
Michelle Dissenting.
Yep. I love the Hawk Kill.
I love The Hawk Killed the Punk too.
Yep.
I don't know that I would vote the same
Spiffy.
way today, frankly.
Spiffy.
This one I feel a little bit iffy on. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
How about you, Matthew? How do you feel about that choice?
Did you two? Oh yeah, you two both.
Did you
Yeah, we
record
both voted it for it.
for
Yep,
Revenge?
Yeah, Revenge
Yeah,
versus
no,
Hawk Killed the Punk.
I'd still vote for Revenge.
So vote for Revenge. All right. Now, it's going up against Something Dark Against Something Light off of Tour EP1, the Faceless May EP from 2010. Now, Something Dark Against Something Light won out against No Big Surprise, episode 9. Michelle was the dissenter on that one.
Oh.
Yeah, which is interesting, right? I have to say, I just listened to No Big Surprise again today. That song fucking rules. Talk about another song that goes all in on a giant, long-ass musical break.
What?
That song really goes
what
into it.
album is
I
that one
can't-
from again?
That's
I
on the
can't
that's
think
on
of
the
what that is.
that's on the a generic shame EP.
Oh, right. That's right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It's off the One Sessions. So this
Yeah.
is a One Session
Oh,
song.
I wish we could play little ditties while we were talking.
I know.
So, 'cause
No
I
Big
don't
Surprise
fucking-
is that really good song.
Nah.
Yeah, it's
Now,
like
see it. That's even better when you sing
yeah,
it.
it's so fucking good. Yeah, you don't need ditties.
Yeah.
Just have me. You have my bass sound.
Yep.
So anyway,
Quarter in.
Something Dark Against Something Light came one out against No Big Surprise. Michelle was so this is the Michelle dissenting round. She was
Oh.
against us on both of these. So now
I'm
we're
against
gonna
it.
let me take a little timestamp. We're gonna let Parker put in a little bit of his favorite bits of both of these songs. We're gonna have Something Dark Against Revenge, maybe Something Light Against Revenge. I don't fucking know. We'll see. Anyway,
And the band played some good old rock and roll. See the snake that crawls across the path in the woods of the little boy lost. Hear the hissing, feel the bite as he opens his eyes in the pale moonlight. One is low, one is high, crossing on the path between black and white. Out of a dream and into the night, something dark against something light. Something dark against something light.
all right, I'm up first. Fuck, how do you compare and contrast these songs? Could two songs be more different? Jesus Christ. So Revenge, I'm gonna be ping ponging all both of these because it's really hard for me to dive into either of these directly or together. They kind of want to be separate. Together, Revenge is almost one of their most anthemic riffs.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 boom, boom, dun, 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 right? Like you can hold a lighter up to that riff. This is like a heavy
Feedback.
arena rock.
Guitar feedback.
Well, it's like an arena rock riff. I would hazard to say their most arena rock riff. The song isn't, but that riff really is. Something Dark Against Something Light goes right to that sweet spot of this kind of Secret Chiefs 3 Middle Eastern Sufi Dakir sort of fucking riffs and the syncopation of John playing off it. Musically, these songs are like on absolutely opposite ends of the No Means No spectrum.
Yep.
When it comes to the content, I'm not so sure. Revenge to me, and I found this last time I was talking about this song, and I feel it still, like this kind of solidified for me. This is not a song of somebody talking to someone else about revenge. This is a single person talking to themselves. This is a Slade scenario. This is one aspect of oneself, to me anyway, one aspect of the self talking to the other about the dark aspect, the dark nature, overcoming a part of oneself that comes off as very friendly, comes off as socially aware, but is really a facade. It's a mask. And underneath that, you're going to die. The part that's real is the dark fucking part. And that interplay between those voices, I think, is really, really interesting. So I've talked before about how I had not given Sex Mad You Kill Me the respect it deserved over the years. It's and I was talking to Parker about this around the dinner table tonight. For him, he still hasn't gotten to the place I was. He loves a lot of the songs on this album for sure.
Good.
But it's the slowest burn for him. He's told me it's the one he listens to front to back the least.
Sex
of all
Mad.
the albums. Sex Mad You Kill Me.
Wow.
That
Wow.
CD. He listens to it front to back the least. He listens to songs off of it, but not like putting it on and just listening to the whole
Right,
thing.
like a book.
That
and
was
turn
me
the
for
page.
years. For years. You know when that changed? This podcast, frankly.
Oh, stop it.
No, it's true. So Revenge was one of those songs. I think it's probably one of the songs I gave least shrift to on this.
Mhm.
Although I voted for Over the Hot Kill the Punk, which I can't quite remember why I would do that, but well, I can remember why I do that because this song is incredible. This song is incredible, and it's very. It's not. It is one of those songs that's not immediately accessible into its meaning. It is on a certain level, but I think it. So let me say it a different way. You can listen to it on one level and very frankly just take it as a song of revenge. One song, one guy talking to someone else about how they're going to fucking get them, and you can read it on a very surface level, but you can sit more deeply with the song and have it really dig into you in more ways, right? And to me, one of the reasons that really hits home is that last verse. What I want most in the whole wide world is a girl, right? Which is that's the guy who's been battling with himself, really sort of being the incel of like, what I want most is a girl to take away my pain. I need someone else to define me. I can't handle my own shit. I can't handle my own shit. So someone else is going to save me. They're going to be the best girl that in the whole wide world. And you know what? They live across the country, but I swear they're real, right? Like, it's just that sort of like,
you would know her. She lives in Canada.
Exactly. But it's so infantile, this whole song, in the best possible way, meaning infantile in that I feel like it's pegging a very narrow and Michelle's holding up her Rob mouse pad, which is perfect. It's a perfect face.
I have a Rob Wright mouse pad. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
No, do it.
This song is very much of a piece of one that's coming soon after this. Of the way that in that first album, they dealt with things that are very meaningful, but they were very psychological, right? This is dealing with something that's a deep reading of something very psychological, but was not pointing to something outside of that. Something Dark Against Something Light is not psychological. I mean, it is in the sense that psychology is a reflection of larger forces, but Something Dark Against Something Light is pointing outside of just the human. It's pointing outside of forces that create the human. It's pointing to those forces that shape us, that we're contained within. Revenge is locked in the container. It is in the container. It's a description of the walls banging up against the walls, how I've got one side against the other in that container. Something Dark Against Something Light is a view from outside the container, saying these are the forces that shape it. So they're very different lyrically in that way. Revenge is very claustrophobic. Something Dark Against Something Light is very expansive to me. So they're and even musically, the way that Rob's voice is there's something that they do with the production on Rob's vocals in this that feels like it's inside of a bottle, right? To me, it's very like muted, expansive at the same time. It's muted. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Which one are you talking about?
Revenge. Sorry.
Revenge.
In
okay.
Revenge.
No, I just want to make
very,
sure.
Well, listen, I've had a lot of whiskey, so I'm probably going to misspeak a lot. So call me out on anything. Revenge feels very bottled, even in its production, although very anthemic at the same time, right? So it's very interesting. And the way that Rob bounces between these anthemic kind of liquid vocals and then you want to know why, you die. It's very interesting, this sort of aggression versus this sort of languid, I don't know, it's very, very interesting. But Something Dark Against Something Light, again, I think it's later period. A lot of people have not, I'll say this very frankly, I think a lot of people have not appreciated the later period as much as they should have. Michelle's raising her hand.
Do you want to tell everybody that?
Well, I'm going to.
Well, okay, thank you.
I think this song is very representative of making me interested of where they could have gone. Matthew, you've said that before. Like, it makes me like, what could have they evolved into had they stuck with it? And this song has so much experiment in it. And it is Rob at his, he went from being very internal to starting to, the frame expands for him the farther out we go through these albums. And in these last EPs, he's really looking in on the container. He's not stuck in that container anymore. He's looking at the forces of the cosmos, as you will. And Something Dark Against Something Light is a really beautiful explication of yin yang, right? The dark and the light. I remember one of the things that sticks out to me most about this song was hearing it live. He altered the lyrics to be in that part in the middle where he starts to say in the recorded version, black
is white.
Black is white. Black is
Yeah,
white.
yeah.
When he'd sing it live, when I saw it, he was saying black is right. Black is right. Black is right, which I thought was very evocative and interesting and sort of really confrontational in an interesting way. So I love the fact of the way that he's playing with these very almost fairy tale images, these very not fairy tale, parable. This feels like a parable in musical form. And it feels very Sufic. This is, I mean, the way that the music is clearly very Middle Eastern. The shepherd and the sheep and the snake and the boy. These are all very. You could read, Hafiz or Rumi. You could find these in many Middle Eastern kind of Sufic texts. These images. So it feels like a deeply Sufic song in a way, including the music itself, and yet. The way the stripping away all of that musically for these two songs, Something Dark Against Something Light is so interesting in the way that it plays the rhythms off itself. I think we get one of those moments from Tom of really edging into Andy territory where he's and that's not fair because it's his own, but the way that the guitar historically in No Means No
the recipe
doesn't try to be typical, right? Where it scrapes at the edges in such an interesting way that it allows you to deconstruct against the edges of what is such a beautifully crafted syncopation between the bass and the drums, and the guitar can just come in and sort of like twist off the edges of it. And he does a beautiful job in this in punctuated moments that I think is really, really gorgeous. And I just love that central section. I think it's beautiful where Rob just really descends into the repetition of this, the repetition of this, the repetition of this until it becomes something else. And when he allows himself to really just keep diving into something with subtle differences, I just really appreciate that. It's not repetitive to me. I enjoy being able to bathe myself in the repetition of something. And it feels mature, right? In a way that Revenge, in a beautiful way, feels immature. In a way that doesn't mean it's denigrated. Often an artist will have a spark of something at the beginning, but that's what I love about these songs. In terms of contrasting them, we have a song at the beginning and we have a song at the end. Right. And what to me is something very myopic in the way that only No Means No can go very deep in their myopathy in the beginning. Revenge is very myopic, and Something Dark Against Something Light is almost cosmic in its view. And I don't mean that in a floaty way. I just mean in the sense of looking from way farther out in the frame. Right. So what a two very, very interesting songs to put together. Favorite bits. Revenge. That last bit is so fucking iconic. The part where Rob is like, what I want most in the whole wide world is a girl, is so like, but the part and she could keep me from losing my mind is so gut wrenching, right? That's the part where it's just like, I'm looking for a savior outside of myself because inside of myself, I'm going to tear myself apart. I'm going to kill myself. I am my own revenge, right?
Exactly.
They think you're smart. They think you're nice, but no, you're just clever, right? Like that's someone talking to themselves. That's not someone else talking to somebody outside of themselves. They're ripping themselves apart. But what will save them? The perfect woman outside of themselves. And that's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So I love that part. Lowlights, I think they lean a little bit too heavy in whatever they decided to do with the production of Rob's voice. I don't know that I'd call it a low light because sometimes I fucking love it. And at other
you mean
times,
like the echo kind of thing?
It's not the echo. It's like a weird compression. I don't know what it is, but whatever they've done to Rob's voice, at times I love it. And at times I'm like, too much, boys. Back off. Back off. It goes
What's next?
Too far.
Auto-tune?
I don't know. It's like, it's almost too much for me. and it's hard for me to call it a low light because there are times I love it, but there are times where it's just too much. Highlights for Something Dark. The interplay off of the drums and the way that Rob actually with that riff actually plays with it a lot more than I think you realize. If you just follow Rob's riff the whole way through, he plays with that so subtly. Almost, I think I'm going to give Rob the highlight in this more than John. Normally on these tour EPs, I'd give John the highlight because he fucking does amazing work. But Rob in this one makes me think he's playing the same riff over and over, but he is not. He is really playing with it in subtle ways. And I listened to it this time, and the way that he makes subtle changes into it really makes him the one that adds depth to the song over John in a way that's not typical. Usually it's John that does that, but in this case, I think it was Rob. And so that's the highlight of that for me. Low lights. I frankly don't know that there's low lights for me on this song, on Something Dark. I kind of love all of it. And sometimes parts of it that may not have hit me as much before, when I pay more attention to them on the next listen, they really do land for me. So
okay, good.
I think this song is not given the shrift it should. If you're someone who hasn't given this song the attention in the past, if you haven't really sat down and listened to it, I encourage you to. I think this song, if you're someone especially who's like a Bungle Secret Chiefs 3 head, you really owe yourself to dive into this one. It's really got something. So I've been talking for a long time. So anyway, I'm gonna let this go. Michelle, that's my first round.
You got Shorty next, so
God,
you're such a great surfactant. You know what? You're
Christ.
a surfactant.
What's a surfactant? What's that word?
It's something that breaks the surface and lets you dive deeper, right, Matthew?
Oh, nice. I like that word.
You know.
I didn't know that word.
Yes, it is. It's a thing I know about. It breaks the surface, and
fucking
like
great.
if you put water on wool, it won't go down into it. But if you put
something else on it,
denatured alcohol in it, it'll penetrate the wool.
Oh,
You're a surfactant.
Sweet.
That's
I'm the
what you are.
denatured alcohol to
Yeah.
as is everybody.
Or natured alcohol.
Natured.
All right,
Speaking of
revenge.
natured
Usually,
alcohol, how the heck?
usually I'm not one for the slow dances, but this one has several layers of great sludge and crunch. It's a cool example of how they can blend a fast part and then a particularly slow part and somehow make these two styles work together.
Yes.
That's very difficult to me, I would think.
It is,
like,
but it's so true in this
but
song.
they do
it's
it.
So fucking
I don't know
good.
how they fucking do it. Rob sounds especially good, and I quite like his voice on this. I like his voice. It's not, and you know what I was particularly talking about? I like his voice on this, meaning the timbre of it. It's not too high and it's not too low.
His voice is amazing. It's only the production that got me a little bit.
But I like where his voice. It's like after the nodules and before like his balls dropped further. I don't know what it is.
This is almost not to interrupt you, but this is almost one of the songs where he gets most. It's a reflection of where he goes later in the lowness of his tone. It has like a low depth to it that I don't hear in a lot of the other songs off this album in a way. That's weird, but yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
But it's like, but it's in between though.
Yeah,
and this
you're right.
Was this right after, like when his nodules had
they were just about to freak out? I think it was the next album
it was before.
It was before because in the next album that's where he bowed out the most. I think was in Day Everything. I think
it's before.
I have to read.
I thought it was after he had the surgery.
I don't think so.
I didn't know if it was after Red Devil or some shit. Anyways, I like it. I think the timbre of it is great. It's not too high, not too low. It's just right, and I'm Goldilocks, like in my porridge, my Rabs' porridge. This section where he has a slight chorus on his voice, mentioning how he wants a girl, the best girl, and being a woman, I'm just like, oh, whatever, man. But I never feel like that in that because I think it's passionate. Of course, I don't know what he's saying. I'm not going to sit there and try to figure out what he's saying. I just like the way he's singing it.
It's really
it's passionate,
earnest.
And I don't think it's earnest, and it's not like I want pussy or anything like that.
No.
He's serious. Is that right that I said that word?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You can say anything on this podcast. We've said worse.
Okay, and the one that'll keep me from losing my mind. There's some humility in that, Like
Yeah.
it's like the "I Need You" stuff almost.
Sad as shit.
Yeah.
It's really
And
heartbreaking.
it's stellar stuff, and it's a great highlight to the piece. I always like the vocal harmonies Andy is doing in the background, and it
Yeah.
adds a lot to the intensity of that. And I certainly love the way the song ends with that tasty feedback.
So good.
I
Yeah.
just haunting.
And the way he and Andy are both screaming at the end, "You die!" It's so
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
good. Oh
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
It's heartbreaking.
Something dark. This is a condensed number. It feels condensed with a Middle Eastern flair to it. It's interesting, but also a bit disjointed. The vocals to me are on the simpler side, and both the guitar and bass mirror them quite a bit. In this regard, Jordan, in this regard, this one doesn't hold a lot of weight as far as being on the mind blowing part of their repertoire. I'm sorry, but
Hey
I'm
man,
serious. I'm serious.
your opinion is valid.
You know what I like.
I do.
I you can hear John singing some stuff in the far background. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh fuck yeah,
I
I
think
do.
that's
I love
John,
that.
and I think
Oh,
he's
yeah.
doing it. And Tom has really fun guitar work in there that gets layered up really nicely for some great effect. I do a highlight for me is the black is white section, and the cool echoes that they can produce, and that ending part is really good.
And come on,
Okay,
John's drumming in that part in the
no,
black and white is so
I
fucking
know,
good.
I know. Yeah. He okay. Sadly, this song really doesn't do much for me. I'm just gonna be honest
That's
here,
fine.
and I guess it's because it's so disjointed and a bit too straightforward. I feel like a heel. All right,
That's
Matthew,
so.
go.
It's so.
Yeah.
No, I think
I
that's
just-
really.
Anyway,
that
I
is-
just don't
come
think
on,
you've listened to it very
You're
carefully.
not. No, that's
No,
no. That's
I
fine.
know,
That's not.
but
You're
I'm
not a
just-
heel, but it's
I'm
so
s-
interesting because to me,
I'm
I would
so
flip the
music
two.
based.
I think
Mm.
Revenge
I'm
is so much
so
more
music based.
I think Revenge is so much straightforward, even on a musical base, than Something Dark Against Something Light.
I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know.
Interesting. That's not wrong. Like I'm sure there's a bunch of
No,
people
of
out there
course,
right
it's
now.
my
who are agreeing
opinion.
with
It's
you.
your opinion. There's
Yeah.
no right or wrong in any of
God,
this,
that's
which
so
is why
interesting.
this is so kooky.
God, I love it.
but-
This is my favorite parts of the podcast when we have such diametric.
Well, I'm a
different views.
snoot. I'm a fucking music snoot.
Well, but
And
what's
this-
interesting to
this-
me is because to me, on a musical snoot level, I would think Something Dark Against Something Light has more to offer a musical snoot than Revenge, which is more straightforward. The shit is like chords and A B A B A B. Like it's just like what's
Revenge is AB, right? Is that what you're saying?
yes, and where Something
Yeah.
Dark Against Something Light has like weird fucking breaks and weird. Anyway, I'm
Yeah,
not
but he
saying you're
doesn't
not
have-
wrom at
no,
all.
No, I
but
know. It's just it has
Interesting.
it has more substance.
It
I don't
has
know.
more. It has more fuzz and like resonance for sure in that sense. I totally get it. It's amazing. Revenge is amazing. It's an amazing.
I know.
Song. Yeah.
Yep.
It's amazing.
All right, Matthew, go.
All right, nice. I want to hear Matthew's take. This
Yep,
is
me
interesting.
too.
Is there any bass in Revenge? I don't think there is.
I think it's all guitar.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think
right.
there's any bass at all,
stripped down.
which is pretty.
I think
yeah.
Andy said that.
See,
yeah.
that's yep, that's right.
So yeah, Something Dark Against Something Light is on. If there's a drug, it's on Religious Transportation. It is.
What?
Whereas Revenge is on ketamine.
Yeah, right.
Did you say religious transportation?
Yeah, something that takes you to the next plane of existence.
Oh, I just drink beer. All right.
Um,
Oh my god.
yeah, no,
it's the DMT.
the structure is very different. Something Dark. I mean, it's like a round almost. I mean, it is that
good. Yes.
Sufik, a dhikr,
Yep.
which is
A what?
that,
Dikir. It's their like
Oh, you've said
Where
that
you-
word before. Dickier.
yeah,
Yep.
it's where you something is repeated until it kind of loses its meaning, and so in general in sort of Sufi traditions, it is like a religious phrase or something like that, and then
Right.
they kind of lose their heads on.
yeah. I've participated in a form of Dikir before.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense.
But yeah, it was a little bit of a children's story. I think that the word you were looking for, rather than parable, is fable. It's kind of not a children's story, but like a legend or something like that. It feels very old.
Which is why I chose parable, because parables were meant to
to teach you a
convey
lesson, right?
a sort of spiritual meaning, whereas a fable to me is more of a moral meaning. And to me, this points above. But I see what you're saying. But that's why I chose parable, because it's something that the Sufis would use. They would use parables, whereas a fable is more like a folk tale that would be used to do like whatever, the Hansel and Gretel or something like that. But anyway,
whereas that's very kind of universal, some sort of something. Whereas revenge is also universal, but it's all very, very within. It is I tried thinking about what it means and who is I, and I think I is the desire for revenge itself. The inability to let things go, the inability to grow, the inability to just kind of chill, deal. Is revenge pointless? Kind of that thought is pointless because that's what survives. It's interesting.
Right.
The lyrics in both of them are very, very different. I think the purpose is very different. Performance, revenge, very 70s influenced.
Nice
hard
point.
rock like Sabbath, something like that.
Very Sabbath, very good.
Something dark, Middle Eastern influence. I love all the music, and there's so much going on. Especially there's a lot of subtle stuff if you listen carefully with headphones and really, really paying attention. There's a lot of background stuff. The meditative aspect. Tom is really doing a lot of like using his skill more than just being a hired gun.
Yep.
It is a big shame, I think, that Tom wasn't able to flower.
Right, he found it. It's like he was just about opening up in these last EPs, and I guess on 1-2 there were some fucking highlights, but
In terms of the music and how they tie together with the lyrics, definitely revenge. I mean, the whole quiet, loud, slow, fast bit. I mean, it could be the kind of just what goes in your head, the repetitive, obsessive desire, like not being, maybe not revenge, but like thinking about something you just can't not think about it. And then it's like calculating, slow kind of obsession versus violent action.
Yes.
The two kind of
the
poles.
Story of my life.
The anthemic nature of the idea of revenge and how orchestral that is. Revenge, that feeling that explodes outward is crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas Something Dark is very trance-like. It's really evocative for me. In a way that whole post-apocalyptic world and Lost and other things like that has been built so carefully in No Means No. I mean, maybe this is a post. There is, it's a post-apocalyptic, like further post-apocalyptic, where things are starting to restore to balance, like Faceless May. This is in that world, and I think it's a world that Rob was. Maybe it's the world he's inhabiting as he's getting older.
He's the mayor. He's the fucking mayor.
It's a world he was building in his later work, which got me super, super curious. Highlights. So the again, the contrast in Revenge of slow, fast, quiet, loud, and of course the you die part, where Andy is picking it up and then the other voices in the background is pretty awesome. And that's also what I really like about Something Dark is the other voices.
Yes.
Other people doing other stuff.
John's
off in the
distant
distance,
voice in the distance is incredible.
Yeah. Some of the effects, I think some of them are production effects, but also just like little bits of music that have been added in. The background vocals are really, really something interesting. I love how the vocals mesh with the music really, really well. I've described No Means No as kind of the 3-piece No Means No stuff, like when they're really, really clicking as a braid, the three kind of thing. But this is more like a tapestry. It's more like woven than braided. And of course, I love the black is white. I think that is that sort of contradiction, and that would be the central part of the Vikr. Like you're just black is white, and like whatever you think
Right.
is true is untrue, and the opposite is true,
And yet John doesn't let you sit too easily in that because it's
No.
a shuffling drum beat behind that
Yeah.
that keeps you a little off-centered, right?
Yeah.
It's like keeps you moving. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
John.
So lowlights. I guess I got a little tired of the bridge in Revenge. Just because maybe it's repeated one too many times.
What? You want to know why?
Revenge,
That part. Okay.
Revenge.
Yeah.
And the thing about the girl, there's a lot of ways to sort of, the incel
that.
aspect is for sure,
Yeah.
or like, but to me it's
Mom.
dismissive of the girl in a way.
The girl doesn't
it's like-
exist. It's their
No.
fantasy. They're not.
but
real.
it's also
It's like Mom.
blaming. Can you just?
Okay, sorry.
It's blaming that non-existent girl.
Ah, interesting.
I can't get my shit straight if I can't find this girl.
you're
It's
not
not my fault.
Right.
Right.
So it's
Interesting.
Just a girl. Yeah, that's interesting, Matthew. That's really interesting.
Yep.
the low light to Something Dark, I guess. Just that it didn't come earlier in their careers because it really interests me as a direction that they could have gone. And the more I listen to it, the more I'm kind of like, oh wow, like where were they going? Where was
that?
What was being influenced? Anyway. So that's my chunk of that.
Fascinating, man. Yeah. No, that's good.
Right.
That's good. That's both of you guys. Fucking good shit. So, all right, round two. Let me scroll up to what round two is supposed to be. Representative as a whole. So, Revenge, very representative of their early work. Very much of a piece of Sex Mad, right? Again, as I was talking about, it was very in the container, but in the container in a incredibly incisive way. So that's not a denigration of the sophistication of this. They were very sophisticated at being at describing the a subtle interiority of being a man in particular, of that age, right? Of the youth. And Matthew, I think you put it very well. Sorry, we stepped all over you on that one. I'm a little bit drunk, so I'm doing that now. So apologies. The fact that they're blaming the girl, right? The girl doesn't exist. It's not an actual description of love. It's a description of projection of wanting to get over one's flaws because of all that's needed is the feminine. But it's not a real thing.
Why haven't you fixed me, girl?
Exactly. Why haven't you fixed me?
It's not my job.
It's so plaintive that it's almost like I hate it as much as I love it in the best possible way, right? Like I deride it as much as I think it's a beautiful way of putting it. So Revenge is very emblematic of that aspect of Know Me Know, which is a beautiful aspect of No Means No. And Something Dark is very emblematic of later Rob. So this is where I would say that Rob didn't go outside of himself to find a larger frame. Rob went deeper inside. This is my experience as I grow older. As I grow older and I spend what I've spent the last 30 years in kind of a deep study of the self as much as I could, the more I discover that frame is bigger, right? So the farther I go in interiority, the more that frame expands. And that's one of the reasons I love his writing, is that I feel that in a certain regard, even though it may be on different paths, I share that journey with him. And I share a sense of the frame expanding the deeper I look interiorly. And that's why I really appreciate his writing in this song. And so I think in a sense it's emblematic of the later period Rob moving towards a sense of a greater frame while looking with a finer eye. But on that sense, like, it's very not of most of the oeuvre. So is it representative? It's representative of where they were going. Is it representative of the band? I don't know. I don't know that I could say that, but I love where it was going. I absolutely love where it was going. So importance in their oeuvre. I mean, Something Dark, again, it just makes me pine for what could have been. And I love what it was. Revenge is a beautiful encapsulation of where they were in the beginning, right? So I just think this is such a beautiful pairing of the beginning possibility and the end ripe fruit. We have the seed and the fruit at both sides of this, and I don't want to judge either one of these because I think it really shows the growth of it in a certain sense. In terms of newbies, no, neither of these songs are for newbies, I don't think. I think Something Dark is interesting for me in that this used to be when he was really little, and I'm talking like 5 to 9. That was Parker's favorite song. When he was in preschool, and his preschool, they have these little things like, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? When he wrote, what's your favorite song? Something Dark was his favorite song that he wrote down when he was like 6 years old, right? He loved that song. Because I had tried to make him a mix CD of songs that were lyrically acceptable, that didn't have a lot of curse words, right? And this was one of them. And he fucking loved this song. He would ask for it to be played over and over and over again.
Oh, that's sweet.
So he still loves this song. It's certainly not his favorite anymore, but he still loves this. So in that sense, I guess it's okay for a newbie, but no, neither of these songs. Revenge, I certainly would never. I can't even imagine a world where I would play this for anybody as a newbie, or like, why would I ever? I don't know. Like, find the song on your own and love it or don't. But I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna suggest this song to anybody. Just find it. It's there and it's great.
Find
but
it. I like
find
that.
it. Something Dark. I might play this for my more Secret Chiefs 3, which is one of my other favorite bands, Minded. But even that, it's sort of like that would just be, well, it's got some Middle Eastern tunes. But Trey would probably go like, fuck you. What are you doing? Like, fuck, don't do that. And I've talked to Trey a bit, so I feel confident in saying that. So I don't know. Yeah, no, my bottom line is that neither of these are newbie songs. Unlike the first pairing, neither of these are newbie songs. Is what I would say. All right, Michelle, round 2.
All right, Revenge, certainly it is representative, and but especially for one of their slower numbers, it is well written and full of some good substance. Something Dark Against Something Light, for their later period, I think it fits in well. I sadly, and I think everybody knows this, I'm not too familiar with the Tory piece, but exploring them through this podcast has been refreshing enough to embrace their winding down years. Would I play these for somebody? Like Jordan said, I wouldn't play either of these really. Not for somebody to sit and listen to, anyways, and maybe both for some background music, but nothing for a sit down and check this out kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew, round 2.
Yeah, Revenge, I'd say, like it's representative of the time, but maybe not so much as others. And it was released on the split 7-inch with Dad, which is kind of
that's right.
I don't remember if
super
that
early.
came out before. Yeah, super early. So maybe not as representative as other songs. Something Dark, yeah. Maybe representative in that I sometimes feel that the later songs, they not as familiar. I haven't spent as much time with them. Sometimes I feel like they could have used a little bit of an edit, and so maybe it's a little longer than it perhaps needed to be. Although the coda is super gorgeous, but maybe unnecessary. I don't know. I mean, I really love listening to it. I love listening to what's going on in it. But yeah. Again, sort of, I don't know how common it would be to like the rest of everything. In terms of where these songs sit in the in the pantheon, neither are particularly important, I don't think. Although I think Something Dark, I would have liked it a lot more if I'd known about it earlier. For sure. And Revenge, fantastic, and it is definitely a mood. But maybe not as well known as some of its other stuff. And would I introduce a newbie to either of these songs? Neither of them, no. I would not.
Yeah, interesting. So interesting that this first round was such a unanimous, like, both of these. And this one's like, nah, neither.
They don't.
All right, well, we're into voting. And it's not hard for me. Something Dark wins by a landslide. Like, to me, it's a much more interesting song. It speaks to me much more directly. I really appreciate Revenge way more than I used to. It used to be one I kind of wrote off, not in the way that I thought it was a bad song, but it just never touched me. I feel it a lot now, and I really enjoy the song. I love the song when I listen to it. I think it's fucking great. So it's definitely risen up the ranks for me, as that whole album has. But I just think, for my own where I am in my own life, and in terms of how that kind of parallels where whatever degree it would, which is totally antithetical to thinking that I understand where Rob's at. Something dark against something light just speaks to me more, and I think musically it's far more interesting. And yeah, anyway, so that's it. Something dark by a landslide. Michelle,
landslide. I'm voting for Revenge of the Nerds.
All right, very good.
Revenge. Yes.
Matthew.
Yeah, I love them both, but I think Something Dark is my choice because it's got more going on in it. I kind of feel like I have taken all that I'm going to take from Revenge, but I think Something Dark will continue to give me interesting. Yeah.
Oh.
That's a statement I really agree with. I feel like I've got room to grow with that, and I've got no more room to grow with Revenge, even though I've grown with it. Nice.
Nicely put.
I don't feel confident in saying this, but I think Something Dark might be the only tour EP in round 3. I think it might be.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to pee again.
All right. So
Are we going to have a pee break?
Pee break. All right, Michelle got cans back on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to enter our final round. We're already almost 2 hours into this bad boy.
Oh, my God.
But before, we don't have another listener submission in that respect, but we do have a listener submission, which I'm going to play before I say anything about it. I'm just going to play it, and then I'll talk about it a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here we go. A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Follow the account, follow your business, follow the account, I got the music, I don't like it. Follow the account, follow your business, follow the account, I got the music, I don't like it. Follow the account, follow your business, follow the account, I got the music,
There's one we stole from No Means No, in case Scott doesn't play it later in the set. We did it, well, we ruined it.
So that was Mistaken Identity, featuring Uber fan, primary fan of the podcast, Chuck Wood.
Oh!
On WM, and he was the drummer, on WMNF radio in 1993, a radio station in Tampa, Florida. Chuck.
That's amazing.
Thank you to you and your former bandmates for that rousing rendition of No Fucking. Although I think that version is clearly just No Fucking. Let's just be clear.
Indeed.
So
fucking around is what it was.
Absolutely
no fucking around.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Fucking love it. And there are many more covers that I hope to play. There was did you guys hear the God damn it, was it Jason Beers who did the cover of The World Wasn't Built in a Day? The sort of like really lounge singer.
I think yes. I think
I want to play.
I think
God,
it was.
That was so good.
We should do covers for round 3. That would be a hoot.
Do some,
that
or,
would be
or
a
at least
hoot.
an episode about covers or something, right?
Yeah.
It'd be fucking great because there's been some great covers. In any event, Chuck, thank you, man. That was awesome. I'm sure we'll have you back on at some point. But there you go, Chuck. I'm glad to have played it. Sorry it took so long.
Who's got the tougher part in that song, the singer or the drummer?
Drummer. 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
The singer's got to have fun.
All
The
right.
drummer's got to fucking keep it tight. The singer can just fucking let their shit out, man.
Okay.
Drummer's got to go tight. So good job, Chuck.
Tight.
All right. So round 3, last round of the evening, last round of round 2. Fuck. The last 2 songs to be up against each other. These are the last 2 songs before we get into the finals. It is Ashes to Ashes off of All Roads Leads to Ausfart, 2006. Now Ashes to Ashes won against I'm Dreaming and I Can't Walk.
Isn't it just called Ashes?
It is.
Isn't
I'm
it?
just being an
Oh,
asshole. It's
okay,
called
sorry,
Ashes.
no. Okay, I wasn't sure.
One against I'm
to Funky.
Dreaming. It's Funk to Funk. It's up against no. It won against I'm Dreaming and I Can't Wake Up. Episode 27. I was the dissenting voice on that one. Yes, I am drunk. Clearly, everyone can tell. Ashes goes up against Stop It from You Kill Me, 1985. This was the first No Means No 3-piece recording, apparently. And it won out against Land of the Living in episode 17.
Interesting to me.
And that was unanimous. So that's interesting. That was tough. In that first one against I Dreaming, I would still stand by it. I think I Dreaming would win against Ashes. And Land of the Living, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I vote
Land of
right
the
now,
Living.
but I don't have to. I just have to vote against Ashes versus Stop It. So let's dip our fingers into the ashes, draw the cross on our forehead, and just fucking stop it for a minute. Just fucking stop it.
I don't see the is all that maybe
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because late and early again.
Late and early again.
Yep.
And,
Last two.
It's hard to tell. Ashes, yeah, they're definitely up, not upcycling, but not. I don't want to say recycling either.
They
but the
are.
riff,
They
the
are.
Riff from Body Bag.
They are. It's recycled.
God, I've never heard that in there.
You have. I played.
Oh,
I
yeah,
made.
absolutely.
I made the comparison last time. John even admitted it to me. He admitted it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I just don't want to come to terms with it. Why would they do
It's
that?
okay. It
You
doesn't
don't
matter. It doesn't denigrate.
No, it
It's
doesn't.
just-
No, not at all.
all right.
It's
all right.
very different. I mean, maybe it's on purpose because of what the fucking song is about.
Could be.
Yeah.
Actually, listen to the original mix. I found it on my phone. It's probably in the rarity.
Oh, that's right. You have that. God damn it. Share
I
that,
gotta-
please.
so you have that.
Share that.
Of Stop
Yeah.
It, the original mix of Stop It, and it's very 80s. The mix is very, very
Oh,
80s.
interesting.
It's really it's interesting. Like it's clearly the same, like they're same tracks and stuff. But yeah, it's quite different.
I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Neon clothes.
So in terms of songwriting, I wonder. It seems Ashes. Is it Rob singing John lyrics? Because the lyrics don't seem very Rob-ish to me. But it's a
Kinda don't.
very Rob song on a very John album.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
And I do like it. And Stop It doesn't feel written as so much as like Bloodlet or like
Ah!
extruded let out lanced.
Lance.
It's very, very primal. Ashes is primal in a different way, but distasteful when I figured out what it was about, and it makes me think things that I don't like to think about. Ashes can unhear it in terms of the lyrics and stuff like that, the history and what I think it must have been inspired by. I think I
wish we
did
would
this
have
last
asked
time
Rob
too.
about that. Yeah, I wish we would
That
have asked
thing,
Rob.
right?
Whereas I know I'm dancing around it. I'm genuinely not wanting people to know about the details
Right.
of what I think the song is about. It's just something that I think should be forgotten.
Oh, if they've listened to the previous episode, they've already gone down the rabbit hole. You were very
Yeah.
explicit about that in a good way. In a good way.
Could be. Yeah. Anyway, I can't hear that. But it definitely colors my feelings of the song. In interesting ways, certainly. Okay, Stop It. I can relate to it. the lyrics.
Right.
Every day I deal with humans, I can relate to it.
Oh no! Oh god!
Yeah. Okay. In terms of the performance, Ashes, Rob very much in his preacher kind of mode.
Yeah, right.
But because of the story that I think it's about, I can't unsee him as some kind of fucking biker kingpin.
That's very, very on brand for that.
Oh,
The way
wow.
this is delivered. That's excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah, which is scary as hell. Given what, the inspiration was. "Stop" is one of the greatest punk songs ever written, I think.
So
Yeah.
good.
It is Andy at his height. It is so incredibly relatable. Again, it's one of these things like, maybe people have a similar experience, but like having grown up in the same city as Andy, I feel like it's definitely one of those ones where I'm just like, yeah, I get it. It's pulsating within the head of somebody very, very frustrated and at the end of their rope, but feeling very powerless. You're so frustrated that you're inarticulate. Like, Ashes, very hard rock, very almost like Motorhead kind of feel to it in some ways, which isn't a bad thing, certainly. But again, I think just the subject matter has colored my entire view of the song. So
Right.
maybe I'm thinking about,
It's the bad thing, right? I can't remember, but it's the bad thing, right?
It's a bad Canadian.
It's about a serial
okay,
killer.
it is.
It should be. It should be a podcast.
I know
is what
it
the
isn't.
thing is, right? It should be. It's going to be
know
a
what it
true
is.
crime podcast somewhere.
It's a particularly bad.
No, I
serial
wasn't sure if that's
killer.
what you were talking about, but now
Yeah.
I know. I do know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So music and lyrics, I think, definitely Ashes. Just the brashness of it, I think, kind of definitely of the lyrics and of the subject, and I think it is they do match up really quite well. Stop It, again, totally the same
Yep.
kind of thing. That's just a feeling inside your head when you're frustrated and when you just can't stand other people. Highlights. Ashes may be one of my favorites from Mouse Fart, I would say. I do like it. I like that they recycled that riff. I wonder how conscious it was. I do. The vibrato when he says sewer gas.
Sewer gas. Yeah, it's funny.
Fantastic.
You normally hate his vibrato, so that says a lot that you like.
Yeah, no, it does. And Stop It. Oh my God, the snarling, rising, relentless bass is just, you cannot deny that. The drums, just incredible. That dude. When I think about the fact that John was doing that, and he was only like in his mid-20s.
Jesus.
Fuck.
Give me a fucking break.
We'll just like fuck off, man.
Fuck off, man.
Oh, come on.
Just stop.
I do
Stop
like
it.
the towards the end where there are rests. They just stop.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Oh my
and
God.
then I don't like you, and I don't like what you're doing.
Please.
So much. I just so much want to say that to people.
Yep.
All the time. So I don't like you. Like, I don't like what you're doing.
So why don't you
It's easy. Just don't.
Just
don't.
I
love it. Just don't.
Low light for Ashes would be maybe the ending and just sort of stop short. Really short. Stop It has no downside. I love that song.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, that okay.
Agreed. Michelle, round one.
Round one of scene 3. All right, Ashes. This song kicks with a great groove and a boogie line. Rob sounds demented singing it, and I love the different ways he manipulates his voice to deliver the vibe. John is doing some fantastic drumming and highly utilizing that China cymbal. Tom's guitar is terrific on this too, and the doubling of his guitar with Rob's bass is really heavy and cool. Usually I'm not one for the oblique bridges, as they are known to compose, but for some reason, this one dissolves quite well back into the main motif of the song's verse. The mix is really good too to me, and it's a booming tune that kicks. All right, Stop It. have googly eyes.
Googly eyes. The first of the evening.
Googly eyes.
Those are titties.
Come on with this song. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The opening with that fucking scream. Who
Yes,
did that?
yes.
Who did
that's
the
Andy.
fucking
That's
scream?
Andy. That's Andy.
I
That's
don't
Andy.
know.
That's
I
Andy.
can't tell.
Oh, it's
I
Andy. 1,000%.
Well,
It's too
well,
high to be
I hope
John. It's way
I
too
hope
high
he
to be
gets
Rob.
mad at me someday so I can hear that.
Fuck.
I don't want him to ever get
No,
mad at me.
Andy.
But this is a song you listen to right before you start a race, jump out of a plane, or streak down the street. Right?
Yeah.
What a thunderous slam of intense music making, and holy shit does this song kill. When Rob comes in after John's galloping drumline and Andy doubling Rob's riff, man, there is nothing better than this sound. There is nothing better than this sound and this music. The king of singing these types of songs is on 110% here, and it's glorious. This song gurgles and gurgles up with subtle changes in the main riff, and it just washes over you with an intensity that is fucking unreal. The highlight of the song is when they pull back a little and John and Rob stay in the pocket with that riff and let Andy do what Andy does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where he delivers one of his best lines ever.
Oh, and John's
I don't-
hi-hat there.
Yeah, I think I wrote that later. I
Holy
wrote that
fuck.
a little bit later, but the hi-hat in that, exactly. When Andy says he just sounds so defeated. I don't like you.
Yeah.
I wish I could see.
doing.
Did he even blink when he said any of that? And I don't like what you're doing.
I almost
Why
imagine him in
don't
the
you
corner with his eyes closed, just like,
I
fucking
know. I
goddamn
wish I
it.
could
Yeah.
watch them record this.
I know, right?
Come on. It's
Yeah.
easy. You just
Don't.
And he's
Just-
got these pauses. You just
Oh,
don't.
So good. It's fucking.
This tune is
Perfect.
top
Yeah.
shelf. No means no, and it's one of the most glorious things they ever fucking wrote.
Yeah. All right.
Guess
my turn.
what I'm voting for?
No, no.
Sorry.
My
But,
turn. So it'll probably
Yeah.
be pretty obvious for me too. So Ashes to Ashes. I think I was pretty clear on this last time too. I don't know, Matthew, because I don't live in Canada, that I can glom on to as much your reading of it as you have, because I don't know that story as much, right? So there's ways I can read this song that are very oh, hold on.
uh-oh.
Hey,
There we go.
where'd he
I
go?
got disconnected.
Oh, no!
No, I'm back.
Oh,
I'm back.
oh.
We're good. We're good.
Wait, Matthew, put Matthew over on the other side.
I can't.
There.
We're reconnected.
Okay.
So I'll try not. Well, what am I talking about? I'm going to talk for a long time. So Ashes to Ashes. I think there's a lot of generalized talk in this. Not generalized. Big picture talk about industrialization. Blah blah blah. Anyway, what am I kidding? I don't know, man. I don't connect to this song at all. I never have. I didn't listen. I didn't connect to it when I first heard it. I don't know why. It's not a bad song. It kicks ass. It's got great riffs. It's really energetic. It's
Yep.
heavy. I never, ever have connected with this song. I've tried, and I cannot with this song. It's a skip for me when I listen to this album. I can't do it.
Oh,
I just don't. I
wow.
don't give two shits about it. And I don't know why. It doesn't deserve that. It's a great song. I know it objectively when I listen to it, and I try to like separate myself out from it. But in terms of my connection with this band, I have zero connection with this song. Absolutely none. Can't do it. I can't pretend.
It's the exact opposite of Matthew.
The one thing that I would say that I do like about this song is those weird little bridges where Rob really breaks down and is like talking to the camera, and there's someone behind him and you can't fully explicate what either of them are saying. And it's Tom like kind of like, you got to let the children, what? You got to.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I love those parts. I love them. So those parts are my highlights, to skip ahead a little bit. The rest of it, I don't know what to say about it, man. I just can't dive into it. I can't pretend. It just doesn't connect with me. That is not me saying it's a bad song. It's not. The song kicks ass.
No, I don't
the
think
riff
it is.
amazing. Hearing Body Bag sped up, and it's definitely Body Bag, all of it. Sped up really fast, fucking slays. The drums slay. Rob's vocals slay. Everything is so good about it. And I cannot like it. I just don't like it. I don't know why. Something about this one. There's very few songs, as we know. You've all
Wow,
heard me
I
hear
know.
about the songs a lot.
I don't hear you
There's
talk
very
like
few
this.
songs that I can't connect with. This one I cannot. I've tried
Right.
really hard in many ways to like, let me step back. Let me really listen. Let me do it this way. Let me do it that way. Can't get in. It won't let me in. The song won't let me in, and I'm knocking at the door. So I don't know what to say about it. Stop It, on the other hand, fucking hell, this song rules. The bass line in this song, I said it before and I'll say it again, is a demonic barber's pole that just keeps going up but never stops going up. It's just
demonic barber's pole.
Just like
How
keeps me
can
on
you
the...
imagine him playing that? How
No,
hard was it?
fucking
Just
hell.
do that with your fingers.
And-
How do you
and
even physically do that?
The way that it keeps the propulsion of this song, and then Andy's vocal performance, as always, with everything is just like picture fucking perfect. Talking about lyrics versus or how it matches performance. This is one of those songs where you're like, everything is absolutely perfect where it needs to be in the pocket. Nothing should be changed an ounce. Nothing should be moved a little to the left or the right. Everything is exactly where it needs to be. And this is a song of just like bass, guttural negation. Just fucking stop. We've all felt this. I don't care who you are. You hear this song and you're just like, yeah, of course I relate. Whether now or in some time in my life or every fucking day. Every day I start to ooze. Like, this song is like fucking hell. Yes, just stop it. Just leave me alone. On small scales, and big. And Andy's performance in this is pitch perfect. He is my id. He is the voice that I just want to scream at people. But because he not only has the screaming of it, he has that defeated tone, which both of you talked about.
I know the defeated tone.
Yeah, the defeated tone of just like leaning against the wall, just like, please.
Piece of shit.
And my favorite part is like, it's easy. Just don't. Right?
Don't.
Like, it's just like, come on. All you have to do is just fucking don't. And then I said this before, and the last time too, he's got that beautiful Popeye bit at the end where Olive Oil had the like, don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, right? So it turns into something else. And he's got the no more, yes, now, no more, yes, now, no more, yes, now, which transforms into affirmation, negation, affirmation, negation, affirmation, negation. It goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. This song is everything about it. The propulsiveness of it, the way that, again, I talk about the holographic nature. This is one of those songs where every fucking element of it is perfectly tied together.
Yeah.
It's got that early energy of just like, they viscerally feel this and they know how to express it in their tenor, in the lyrics, in the
vocal
playing.
timing, the
vocal timing
delay.
is fucking flawless. It's flawless. And just, I mean, I don't know, man. Andy, the best punk vocalist of all fucking time. Give me a break.
He is. He fucking is.
I will extol Rob in different ways in being the most soulful punk vocalist. Like, I think he goes into like the depths of my soul. But Andy is just his punk vocalist, and the way that he talks, he can be my id and pin it to a wall is fucking incredible.
He's a
and I also,
of the world.
one of my favorite things about this, and I guess this is a skip to highlights and lowlights, is the way that he alternates stop it to stop it. Stop it.
Oh,
like the way he alternates the
where
phrasing
he puts
of
the
that.
accent.
It's
where
so,
he puts that
it's very
this
like.
This is the only thing I can say.
Exactly.
You're not landing, and I'm going to just try the only variation I has available to me.
But that's one of the beauty of this band, though, where they put the accent.
It adds a weight to it. He's so frustrated. He's like, you're not fucking hearing me. Let me say it a different way. Let me say, not just stop, but stop it. Right? Like, it's just.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. You're absolutely fucking right.
Fucking good.
Yes.
This song, along with oh my god, I'm just blanking on the fucking song name. The one that is like one of my favorite songs of all time now off this album that we just covered. Matthew, come on, help me out. Not Stop It. God damn it.
Off Sex Mad?
No, yeah, Off Sex Mad.
The
one that's very myopic.
Now.
God damn it. Anyway, whatever.
Matthew's
there's another song that I think
deliver.
is one of their best songs of all time. God damn it. Now I'm going to have to look it up.
Wait, he's got it. He's going to deliver the goods.
Self-pity.
Oh! Self-pity.
That's another one of these ones that like I've always loved, but the more I listen to them becomes just like up in the top tier of their songs.
Yep.
again, talking about framing, this song is a very narrow framing. This is a song that echoes off the inside of one's skull. This is like deeply just inside my own individual being and my own frustration. And yet,
It's your
while
nervous system.
that may be, yes, while that may be very narrow and in a certain sense very small, they are so incisive and so powerful in their depiction of that state. That is a very human, very real state. And so that is just as impactful as the songs where Rob goes even deeper and blows it out of my individual perspective. It just talks about the epistemology of being a human being. They both exist as powerful testaments to being a human being. This is one of those songs that's so, there's not much that's being said in this, but it's being said so perfectly and so powerfully, and it's such an experience that we all share, that it is as powerful as anything No Means No has done or said. So the lyrics in this one in particular fit the music to a fucking T. I mean, it is perfect.
Capital T.
Things that bug me. Ashes to Ashes, the whole song. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. The whole song bugs me.
God.
The whole song.
Wow.
Just can't do it. Can't be there for it.
Wow.
Stop It, not a single thing. The whole thing is fucking perfect. What am I going to say about it? Highlights, I don't know. The highlights I've said about Ashes to Ashes, it would be those interstitials that are really interesting and weird where the music breaks down and gets subtle and weird. I like that. Gives me a little bit of a road in maybe. With Stop It, highlights, God, there's a lot. I think that middle verse of I don't like you, I don't want, that whole part where he's really just sitting in the corner defeated,
and it's
then
just Rob
gets exactly, and then he slowly just stands up and looks at you until he punches you in the fucking face with Stop It. It's so great. It's so great. Anyway, that's my thing. Matthew,
fucking Rob playing that bass line. How does he do it?
It's so good.
How does he do that?
Because to me, it never feels like it's repeating. It always feels like it's continuing up on a scale, even though it's a repeating loop.
Four fingers.
It's so tight. So tight.
That's
so fucking tight.
Pointer, middle, the ring finger, and the pinky.
It's incredible.
Unless he's using open string, he's doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Magic.
That is some guns on his hands to play that.
No shit.
Over and over again, and fuck it up.
I never saw them play this live. Which is a real shame.
Oh man,
it's funny that you should be talking about finger names because you play because of what in Ashes, like this little piggy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh right,
that's right.
Well.
Let's go nursery rhyme.
I don't know.
All right, Matthew, round two.
I don't see Rob using open strings very much, so he was playing every single.
Some of my favorite Rob bits are open strings. So we've got like.
I mean the strumming and the drone stuff, yes, but this one.
No, you're right.
I bet he was doing 4 fingers on each thingy.
I bet you're right.
Yep.
So, all right, Matthew, round two.
Representative. Okay. Stop It. Very, very representative of that time. Like, oh my God, I just connect with Sex Med so much, because of where I grew up and what I was doing, listening to this stuff. I think Ashes. It is representative of that particular time of No Means No. It maybe a little disjointed because I think they were trying to find. Rob was a little bit checked out, and they were trying to find a new identity, new chemistry, new formulation.
Wow, I like that.
As a band, they're trying to meld as a band, I think, and it's not quite working. And that's how I feel about. John had more energy for Ausfart, I think. And that's why it's a very Johnish album. One is a very Robbish album, and and then they kind of
it's not kind of braid. It's not quite the braid as you said.
At sea a little bit in terms of in the EPs, the tour EPs and stuff. But I think there's like enough evidence that they could have gone somewhere interesting, but then it made me sad, and they didn't. Anyway, in terms of where they sit in their body of work, Ashes, meh. What I wrote, meh.
Did you? Okay, that says a lot.
Stop It. Yes, very. It's a quiet song in some ways, even though it's it's super loud. But I mean, it doesn't draw attention to itself. And I
What?
think
Stop
maybe
It doesn't?
not really. I think it's it doesn't have a, I don't know. Once you notice it's there, it's just there. It's there. It's this dude in the corner who can't stand you.
Oh god.
He's been there the whole time. You just didn't notice him at first, right? It's like, and then suddenly you notice him. There's all this fuck off energy
He's that guy in the
emanating. Was like, oh my god.
He's that guy in the meme with the guy in the corner and everyone else, all the Chads and Betty's like dancing around the room, right? Like he's the guy in the corner singing "Stop It."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. It's like it's not quiet, but it's just like it's not calling attention to itself until it fucking does.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Who invited him to the party?
Yeah. As would I play these for a newbie? Ashes, no. Stop It, maybe. Maybe. Just because it is such an incredible fucking punk song, and if you can, as I did relatively recently with a friend of mine, I was playing that song for her. And she's always quite interested in. It wasn't an introduction to No Means No, but I had that song happen to come on. Maybe it was a little while ago, and I just sort of looked at her in the eyes. I said, "I don't like you, and I don't like what you're doing."
Ouch.
I don't like what you're doing.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
pretty great.
man.
Pretty great. Yeah,
That's a T-shirt right
fucking
there.
song.
I don't like you,
And I don't like
and
what
I don't
you're
like
doing.
what you're
That is a great
doing.
T-shirt.
That is a great
It is.
T-shirt. Maybe
Get
I'll have
on
that
it,
shirt
Matthew.
printed up.
Matthew, get on it.
Yeah. Ian, if you're listening.
Exactly.
Who?
All right.
Ian?
Is that your second round, Matthew? Anything else
That
to
is.
tie it up? All right, Michelle, second round.
All right, second round for me. Is this representative Ashes? Heck yeah, it is. I do think it is. I think it's an excellent blend of their core foundation of complex drumming, a kick-ass bass line, coupled with a raunchy guitar. And vocals as an added instrument and its delivery. So I do think it is. Stop It. Come on. Like I said, this is top shelf No Means No.
Yeah.
That makes you stare at your record player in fucking disbelief. And would I play either of these? I would play both of them. I would. I'd play Ashes, not for like a blow your mind thing, but I don't think it has any negative thing, or I think so. I think somebody would appreciate it for what it is. Stop It. This would be one of the ones where I would play to sit down and listen to this and get your mind blown. And Stop It is along the same lines as I Think You Know. It's kind of that kind of song where, and guess what? Guess who's singing?
Yep. Yeah. Mr. Kerr.
Andy. Yeah. The Kirster.
The Kirster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The inarticulate, unstated, just like.
Yeah. And
yes, that's exactly what he is, Matthew.
Yep. All right, so my turn, Michelle.
Yes, I'm
are
all
these
set.
representative as No Means No as a whole? So I'm gonna be a bit of a dick here. Yeah, I think Ashes is in a way that feels empty to me. It feels a way that it's representative of No Means No, but missing. Like it's representative of it on the surface, but I don't feel any of the things that I feel when I listen to a No Means No song. It has all the elements, but something inarticulate for me is, or unable to be articulated, is completely absent, and nothing draws me into it. So I think it's representative on the surface, but it's missing the magic that draws me into almost every other song of theirs. So I don't know why that is. So is it representative? No, I don't think so. It's representative in the way that when you hear your favorite band and you're like, oh, this sounds like the shit they did years ago. It's like, well, yeah, it's kind of like that for me. Stop It is very representative in many ways, as we've talked about. It is that it's representative of the early period, but it's also representative of the way that this band makes every aspect of their song fit perfectly with what it's trying to do. It makes you feel it, makes you hear it, makes you think it. It's not sophisticated in the sense that this song, you do not have to dive deeply to understand it. I think anybody could listen to this and be like, yeah, I've been there. Like I've fucking felt this 100%. And yet it does it in a way that's
daily,
very depthful because it's so earnest and powerful. So it's not shallow in what it's saying. It's very powerful in that, but it's also not complicated, right? But it's very sophisticated in how well it dives into what it's trying to express. And it expresses that on all the elements absolutely perfectly. So in that sense, I think it's incredibly representative of the oeuvre. I also think it's a very important song in the oeuvre. Ashes to Ashes, again, I'll be a dick. I don't think it's important at all. I think the song is an also ran. I think it's worse than every tour EP song. I would put it way below any of those. So that's where I sit with that song.
Wow.
In terms of it, like I think Matthew said, and I don't denigrate either of what you feel about it, the most important song or the best song on that album, couldn't disagree more. I think this is, again, I think this is probably one of my least favorite songs on this entire album.
No kidding. I'm
100%.
so intrigued.
I don't know why. Again, I don't know why.
I'm
it's nothing
so
about the song.
intrigued.
I can't say, oh, this part's not good, that part's not good. It's all good.
Yeah.
I do not connect with it. Don't know why.
Right.
Just can't connect.
It's intriguing
and
to me.
I've tried. I've really tried. Can't do it.
It's all right. Don't force it.
So newbies. Would I introduce newbies to either your song? Of course, clearly, Ashes to Ashes, never in a million years. And would I introduce Stop It? Yeah, I think for some people, Stop It, I would, especially since I think you don't have to listen depthfully to really feel the power of this. The lyrics and everything else is just going to come across 100%. You don't have to work very hard for it. It's right fucking there. I don't have to have a dark, quiet room where you're sitting in the corner and I'm like, hey, listen to this shit so you can really get it. It's
lava
like,
lamp.
yeah, you're going to feel this shit. You can't avoid it. Like, I'm going to turn this on. You're going to feel this shit no matter what. Sorry. too bad. You're going to hear this. So, it's not every newbie I would play this for, right? Because it's pretty intense. But for a certain group of newbies,
play for everybody.
100%.
Fuck them. Play for everybody.
All right, Matthew, voting. Where are you at?
Oh, Stop It.
Oh, baby.
Nice. No hesitation. Michelle.
No.
Stop it.
And I'm going to go Ashes to Ashes. No, I'm kidding. It's Stop It. 1,000% unanimity. I don't think I was very clear about that from the minute
glad.
my voice hit the air on this one. So Stop It eases through with no friction whatsoever. It's not stopped. Well, fuck, dudes. Guess what? That's it. Look at all those notes. Look at all those notes.
These are all the notes.
That is, you gotta scan those in. We gotta archive that.
I have all of them.
Yeah, I think I have mine except for the ones I sent. I wrapped a present to you, Jordan, in some of mine.
I've got those still. I've got those, and I have all of my documents every time I open them up to see what I said before.
This is 4 years we've been doing this?
So, Slowly Melting has melted away in favors of some Hard Edge Bones, which is the worst one of all of these for me. Revenge, unfortunately, will not live to see Revenge against the Dark and Light of the shadow cast by that song. And Ashes to Ashes will be a remnant that shall not have its ashes hauled, whereas Stop It will not be stopped.
That's right.
And ladies and gentlemen,
oh my God,
this is it for round 2. Now, I don't know. We're gonna have a big break before we start round 3. That does not mean there will not be episodes. We will be having episodes. There'll probably be breaks like there have been.
Is that true?
Oh yeah,
we're going to do some stuff.
Well, there will be episodes. We've got lots of stuff. I'm not going to talk about it, but there's stuff in the can that's not directly related to putting songs against songs. This is our more free form. We've got people who want to come on. We've got other weird things we can do. So this is going to be the free form period. And I'll tell you what, I really want to get wild with it because guess what? Round 3 is it, man. That's it. There may be a semifinal final thing, but the final will be like a single or 2 episodes. It's not going to be like a round 4. So round 3 is pretty much it. Nope, no band doesn't
get. Pit the songs against each other.
Maybe in a special episode, but the band doesn't get a say in this. Artists don't get to talk about their own work.
Nope.
So it's been. I know this again. We didn't talk about this much this episode, but I know this has been an uneven year. I'll be a little frank. Our listenership has dropped off a bit. I think because we're not as consistent. That's fine. Is how it is.
Right. Yeah.
I know there's still a lot of people who are still making their way through this podcast. They found it later. They still find it. That's great. But this has been a fucking ride. I can't believe it's 4 years. Doing this with the two of you has been absolutely a fucking highlight. I can't promise that we'll be more consistent in round 3. I plan to. I hope to. Right? Because it's the end. I want to end on a high note. But it'll be what it'll be.
I think I'm pretty interested in some of our ideas.
I am too.
I got to admit, it's like with the it got to be a bit of a drag. Not a drag. But
you got homework. You have homework.
Grind, with the this is the next round. I think all the ideas we've had are going to be a little more spontaneous.
That's right.
Rubric based.
But one thing I will promise you, we are going to see this all the way through to the end. It does not matter
I'm in it.
I'm here. Takes. So I'm going to
Yep.
tell you what. There's going to be no stinger at the end of this. There's no secret
Yeah.
one at the end of this
No.
because guess what? There's no songs to draw. I will tell you one thing. One song, and I don't even know what song it is because I need to go back and listen. That's going to sneak into round 3 because we couldn't add it in. Is the "Sky Is Falling" song? It never made it back in. So that one gets a free pass into round 3, where it will probably be
Sky is Falling, and I Want My Mommy.
Yeah, one of those songs.
It's coming in?
We promised one of those songs because we did a whole episode on it. It goes through, and I never added it into the mix. So that one gets a free pass into round 3. Will probably
Some
be
good
an easy
music
pass
on that
too.
record.
But who knows?
Right.
I don't even remember which
Some
one
good
went through. I
music.
think it was Chew or Sharks, but I don't remember. In
It's
any
not
event,
Ride the Flume.
It's not.
Yeah,
Although I
for
shit on that song, and that's actually when I went back and listened to it recently. That's a great punk song. So that's all I want to say.
Okay.
For each of these episodes, I sit down. I have definitely a routine. I have my little rubric up here. I write it down. There's definitely a thing. I want to say onerous, but it's a little samey after a while.
Yeah.
And I am every time we do a podcast, I spend time with the songs on foot in the car, and then I'm down here at least 2 hours before we record, re-listening and writing notes and everything like that. But next time there's going to be a lot more spontaneity.
There's going to be spontaneity. We won't talk too much more about it, but
we don't have a whole hell of a lot more to say about these songs after that. And
I love it.
We've talked about these songs a lot.
it sounds egotistical to say so. I enjoy the chemistry that we have, and that seems to be what people appreciate about the podcast. And it's literally Leslie. We love the band and everything like that, but they like the our interactions, and I think there's going to be a little more of just raw that.
Well, and frankly, the songs that are coming up against each other are all bangers. It's going to be a lot more probably. It's going to be a lot more friction between us in the best possible way. But I think I think for all 3 of us, we've pretty much said at the deepest thoughts we can about each of these songs. Right? I don't think I have much more to mine in terms of going deeper. Maybe that'll be wrong. We'll see. But I think you're right, Matthew. I feel the same way. And I'm really, really looking forward to this last round. We're going to take it really seriously. And I'm not promising like we did on this one that we're going to bring a bunch of people on. We want to, and we probably will, but no promises on any front. The only promise is that we're going to see it through the end. And again, the big promise is the end means nothing. Who the fuck cares? We're just 3 idiots.
Aww,
there's no best song. There's no best song. But man, I fucking enjoyed the shit out of this. So on that note, No Means No Thing is produced and edited by yours truly, Jordan Flato. Actually, it's not edited anymore, but co-hosting and podcast graphics are by the incredible Matthew Kowalik.
Yeah.
Michelle Strangers is our third, and let's face it, everyone's favorite co-host and official Foley artist, especially Andy. Sound mixing this time really will be by my boy, Parker Flato. Shout out to our official mascot, Teddy. And thank you, as always and forever, to No Means No for the use of the amazing song Stock Taking as our intro and outro music. Why do the fish only swim in the seas? Why don't they spread their fins and glide on a rippleless breeze up to the deep blue sky?
Because they're not birds.
Fuck off.